I saw that. I don't know what's wrong with the Facebook one. It doesn't want to do it for me. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to remove it.
No. Can you change her name if she comes on?
Probably.
Just without her knowing, just write that as her name and see if she notices.
Yeah, I think we're live now. Okay. Hey, look at that. Yeah, we got a goat on the screen. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Bacons. Oh, look at this. We got Canadian boy Ryan here. Okay. Welcome to the Hamityville Horror Hangouts. Donna's not going to make it tonight, but of course, we're going to do a very special broadcast continuation of the last one that we did about 3 weeks ago, which was serial killers. And that was just a general topic. This time, we wanted to narrow it down to go to the ladies. So we're going to do female serial killers this time, which is an interesting topic. I'm not going to put any restrictions on the time frame that we can go to for these female killers because, I mean, because honestly, there's fewer of them to men. I mean, 90% of murders, which is a statistic that I was reading earlier, so I don't know the accuracy of it, but 90% of all murders are committed by men. And of course, so you're going to get a very lopsided amount of male serial killers compared to female serial killers. So just by the sheer, numbers and well, you know what I'm saying. Will allow just about anything that you want to throw out there. I do want to stipulate that there are some cases where you haven't proven that they murdered more than 3 people or at least 3 people. So, I mean, that might be one where I'd be like, okay, are they really a serial killer? I was just talking with Chris before we went live about Lizzie Borden. Technically she killed 2 people and they were family members. She did them both in the same day, and, if she had killed 3, okay, maybe we could do that, but technically, even that's not a serial killer. Doing multiple murders in one day. So that's kind of just the basic bones of it.
You successfully eliminated the one person I knew anything about.
Well, you know what? I will let you talk about it. If you're passionate.
No, you basically said everything I knew too.
Okay. So what is this, another chicken wing challenge? What are we doing here?
I am just going to sit back and enjoy listening to you.
I said the same thing. I have nothing to do. I said, I wish I had chicken wings like Ryan. I would just.
This is going to be a really short stream.
It's just going to be like a chicken wing eating challenge.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I figured I'd be okay because I had a Wikipedia list pulled up on my phone. But I'm streaming with my phone.
Oh.
So I can't look at it.
Okay.
Everybody
Yeah. Sorry, for some reason she wants to be on my lap right now. So yeah. Well, I was actually surprised to find out that there was more than one Italian on this list. And what's that?
Shocker.
Yeah. What are you trying to say, Mike? But with Mike as my resident Italian, I thought I would ask him if he could possibly tell me the correct pronunciation. Oh, are you too? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, Chris. I would ask for help.
Sorry, I don't have my obligatory bowl of spaghetti and meatballs to let you know.
Well, you've never really talked about it, so in fairness, I couldn't tell to look at you. You know what I mean? And I don't want to assume anybody's heritage. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a gypsy. I don't care.
Yeah, she don't give a shit. So I found one that I thought was interesting. I'm going to take a stab at it and let you correct me. Leonarda Cianciulli. So it's Cianciulli.
Cian.
Ciulli.
Cianulli.
What's that?
Cianulli.
Yeah.
Cianulli? Okay. I'll accept it. I will take your word for it. Also known as the soap maker of Correggio. Oh, you're familiar with that one, Chris? Okay.
Yes,
I'm going to read you the synopsis, so it's not a surprise to you. But, okay, please, stop doing that. Please. All right. So, born in Avellino, Italy, she married a registry office clerk in 1917. I love this description here. She fell pregnant 17 times during her marriage. I don't know how you fall pregnant. I'm not sure that's how it really works.
They didn't have TVs then.
Yeah, exactly.
It was such a big baby, it just kept weighing her forward and falling.
Yeah. So this is where I actually feel sad for her. Of the 14 who were born alive, only 4 of them survived beyond a young age. So she became obsessed with their safety, as a mother who experienced extreme loss. And somehow she convinced herself that the only way to ensure their safety was to murder other people, sacrifice them. Okay.
She didn't convince herself. A psychic actually convinced her to do it.
Oh, see, that detail is not here.
Jesus.
She actually told her that because of all the children who died, she had to kill to protect her own children. And as her son went off to army, that's when she started.
Jesus. So it was almost like she called Miss Cleo and said that, explain the situation. She's like, you got to go murder people, love.
Yeah, to protect her kids. Yeah. That's how it started. What I read, anyway.
Damn.
Oh, I missed the letter in there. It's Cianulli.
Oh,
yeah.
Cianulli? Okay.
I can't say it. Wouldn't even try.
Cianulli.
I gave it too many syllables. Thank you. So, over the course of a year, 1939 and 1940, in Correggio, Italy, she killed 3 women with an axe, dismembered their bodies, and used caustic soda to disintegrate them.
Nice.
But wait, there's more.
Soda.
There's more.
Yeah, caustic soda. I'm not sure exactly what caustic soda is, other than maybe like lye or something like that.
Yeah, caustic soda is basically like industrial strength cleaning detergent before like you add the chemicals to make it liquid. So like it's going to be like your lyes, your boric acids, your sulfur type stuff like that. Anything that was able to like dissolve. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So she went Breaking Bad and dissolved the bodies. So she was finally captured, put on trial in 1946. In her court testimony, she talked about turning the women's remains into soap and cakes, which she gave to neighbors and friends. So that's how she earned her nickname, the soap maker of Correggio, and she was sentenced. Yeah, she was sentenced to 30 years in prison, 3 in a criminal asylum, but she died in 1970, so she basically died in prison. Thoughts on that?
I like her.
You like her? Because she's Italian.
I just like the cool ass name, the soap maker.
Yeah. And you're like, I would have tried her soap. Maybe.
I read that she actually commented that certain people that she killed made better soap or made sweeter cakes. What I read.
Oh my gosh.
She actually told everybody that this person made the best soap out of the body and this person made the best sort of cookies and cakes and stuff.
Wow, that makes it even better.
Does it?
Yeah. I wonder if she. I wonder if she named her soap bars after the people they were made from.
Do you have any more Donna? It worked really well.
Yeah. Oh goodness, that just makes it sound even more horrific. The fact that she took the time to be like, this neighbor over here, made a better soap cake than that one over there.
Yeah.
But she's very industrious. I mean, she to know how to do that, you know, and she had a method of disposing of the bodies. Yeah. So that was, hats off to her, because like I wouldn't know how to do that. That's some old world shit there.
I probably would.
We've made soaps.
Yeah.
No people.
I could figure it out. But that's another thought.
Not out of people. Animals, maybe?
Cats and dogs, not people.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay. So you're over there making meow soap. Oh, good lord.
Cat claws by the Bacons.
So, yeah, I thought I'd come out of the gate with that one just because I just found that one interesting. You know,
pretty dark.
Yeah. Chris was making a point earlier where the reason why we say that there's more male serial killers than female serial killers is really just the methods that they choose. So men, and I agree, men have a tendency to be more violent, you know, and therefore they're caught more often because of their violent acts, and women have a tendency to go unnoticed for longer, and sometimes completely unnoticed, because they choose a less violent method of murder.
Poisoning is very popular in female killers.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's only more male serial killers because we get caught because we're dumb.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's 100% true. I will not claim to be intelligent enough to get away with murder.
To piggyback off of that, if you
women are nasty schemers, aren't they? That's what it is.
Can we not start that when I'm like outnumbered, please?
And old Italian women, like, they're friggin' heartless. I'm telling you. I mean, my grandmother loved me to death, but like, if somebody did something, she would like, if she had to like protect her fish, she would gut somebody with no problem.
I like that.
That is beautiful. That's love, Mike. That's love.
So if you research like a lot of the what they call the angel of death type serial killers, there's females or male caregivers who basically take it upon themselves to euthanize older or inferior patients. There's actually a disturbing trend where a lot of people will narrow it down to that person, and they'll just simply shift hospitals. And they will just continue on from hospital to hospital, killing people, like dozens of people before they actually get caught. And then when you go back, you don't know if this person who died was part of their body count or died of natural causes. So
someone's chicken's ready.
So I was gonna say, actually probably quite common that what they are charged with is not their actual body count. It's probably a lot higher in most cases. They only, like I said, they only get charged with what they can be proven to be charged with. So like with our soap maker, you said 3, I'd probably double that. Because women also know how to keep their mouth shut.
Which one?
Your soap maker lady.
Oh yeah.
Like when it comes to their crimes, most of them aren't the glory seeker or driven by ego.
Yeah.
So they will not, tell on themselves and like, oh, you can only get me for 2. Okay, yeah, you got me for 2.
Yeah.
You didn't notice 7 in the backyard, but that's when you find out.
Yeah. Well, and I also wonder, given the time period and the circumstances of where that one took place, if it was a really small community. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about that particular town in Italy, Correggio. Like how many people would have been there at that time. And I wonder if maybe she got caught because people noticed, happened to notice 3 people missing. You know what I mean?
That's a possibility in that case, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a small community like that.
Yeah.
You would notice if Mike goes missing.
Right. Would you care and say
I
something
think-
for a while? Yeah, you might wait, but it's like, okay, he didn't come back. We checked with all of our relatives, and he didn't go visiting, so something happened to him. That's kind of what I envision with that. So it's
I kind of saw a thing that basically said that it was young single females in the community that she convinced them beforehand, became friends with them to tell their friends and family they were moving away for a better life. Then invited them around for dinner and drugged them with drugged wine, and then she chopped them up. That's what I read.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. So she was actually picking people out of the community.
People that wouldn't really be noticed, and she could manipulate to say that they were going to disappear.
But at the same time, might eventually be missed.
Yeah.
Because they had families in the area. Yeah. So that's probably exactly how she got caught.
Yeah.
But oh shit! Let me see what Nicole has.
The message.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You saw I sent the link.
Yeah. So Mike thinks that Nicole looks like Myrna Hindley. And he
does not
sent the picture.
Oh, right.
Sent the picture to the Hangout group, and she
now what I got to put her face under that hairdo. And that will
do like a side by side. Is that what you're saying?
I don't condone this in any way.
That'd be pretty easy to do. I have one of those face swapping apps that you could.
That's what you got to do. You got to do it.
Oh, she's gonna get so mad. I don't know if I can do that to her. So
yeah, do it.
Tell you do it. You did it for me. Sure.
Yeah. All right, Chris, did you throw out a selection?
Go ahead and let Mike go because he's.
Yeah. I don't know if he's got anything. He said he was looking at Google and stuff, but I don't know. Did you find anything that you want to throw out there, Mike?
No, I'll get you the next round. I have a page open, but
okay.
I don't want to.
That's right. You're
one.
using your phone, and it's tough to look at stuff and actually talk to us at the same time. So
yeah. So I'm gonna go off the top of my head here.
Okay.
You might be able to Google to clarify some of my misspeaks because my brain is filled with horror and serial killers. And
all right.
Like I said, I've done classes on this kind of stuff for psychology, so it's actually, I don't want to say a field of study, but it's definitely something I was interested in my misspent youth. One of the most compelling cases that I read was actually a little girl named Mary Bell. UK. I want to say she's still alive, so maybe like the early 60s, 70s. She killed a little boy when she was 7. And I think she killed another one too. And she and her friend completely carved up the body. Like it was a savage, brutal attack. What makes it most compelling to me is the fact, because of her age, she was allowed to basically, she served time, but when she was released, they actually allowed her to change her name to maintain her anonymity. So
that actually happens quite a lot in our country.
And so she actually is out in the UK. I don't want to say England, Britain. I'm not 100% sure because I don't know where she is. And she completely is anonymous. And when they do find out who it is, they do, reveal her identity because they don't think that she should remain anonymous for her crimes.
Okay.
She was called the Demon Seed. Because
the Demon Seed. Wow.
Because they were like, she was born evil.
Wow. Wow, Well, if Nicole was here, she'd probably be talking about The Bad Seed right now, which I completely understand because that's a good movie. This might have been the inspiration for that.
That was kind of
Demon Seed sounds like the name of a band.
Doesn't it? Yeah, Demon Seed. Yeah.
So The Bad Seed was actually kind of loosely based on her story, if I recall correctly.
I believe it. That sounds plausible.
And like I said, I don't have Google. You literally texted me like 6 minutes. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and get some stuff ready. I'll jump on. I have nothing prepared, so if I misspeak, please forgive me.
Oh, that's okay.
The most compelling part about that is the age and the sheer brutalness of the murder. I mean, she was not old. She was not much older than her victims, and she castrated like a little boy and ripped him up, and I don't know how graphic you want to get, but basically assaulted him in various ways with various things and taunted the police too.
Wow.
Like she actually went to the little boy's house while they were having the funeral. I was like, oh, can Martin come out and play? Or I'm just making the name.
Get out.
It was laughing at them. Look, if you really want a compelling case of nature versus nurture, she was definitely born evil. So
wow.
Clint is muted, so if anybody has anything to add, go ahead.
I think I've heard the name before, but I've never heard the story. Or
I've definitely heard the name.
I've heard the name, but I have no idea what
it is. It is over in your neck of the woods. Like I said, I do know it was. I want to say because she's still alive, so I'm gonna look it up on my phone real fast.
I'm gonna look now.
Just because I want to get the actual time frame right.
Well, I think I found her on Wikipedia. So Mary Flora Bell, born the 26th of May, 1957. And she, as a juvenile, murdered 2 preschool-aged boys in Scotswood, an inner suburb of Newcastle upon Tyne, in 1968. So she committed her first murder when she was 10 years old. In both instances, Bell informed her victim he had a sore throat, which she would massage before proceeding to strangle him.
Oh, actually, the kid's name is Martin. So
is it?
Yep.
Wow.
I completely pulled that one out of the hat, but I was right.
How about that? So, convicted of both murders in December of 1968 in a trial held at Newcastle Assizes, when she was 11 years old, in which her actions were judged to have been committed under diminished responsibility. So her accomplice in at least one of the murderers, 13-year-old Norma Joyce Bell, who was no relation, was acquitted of all charges. She remains Britain's youngest female killer, though not the youngest female murderer. Having been diagnosed with a psychopathic personality disorder prior to her trial and convicted of the manslaughter of both boys. Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Released when she was 23.
Yes. Released from custody in 1980 at the age of 23. A lifelong court order granted her anonymity, exactly like you said, which has since been extended to protect the identity of her daughter and granddaughter, since she has since lived under a series of pseudonyms. Spot on.
I've probably missed it being sort of a news thing because I'd be 5 in 1980.
Yeah.
So if you kind of think that story got so pushed down to when I would have been old enough to remember it. So it's not something I've never come across it in any documentaries or anything I've read before, but I've heard the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just crazy stuff, isn't it?
That's just straight up fun. I mean, I would have never considered, somebody that young, having the desire to do something like that.
Yeah, it's very like I said, it's one of those things that when you go into like, especially like psychology and studying like the human mind, it's like you could kind of, and I don't mean this to sound sympathetic, but when people are mentally ill and like schizophrenic and are like hearing these voices that are absolutely 100% real to them and like compelling them to do something, you can kind of sympathize with that because you're like, that dude's just, or that person is just not right. You know, they don't know the difference between right and wrong or reality or fantasy. But for someone who can to have such a drive to commit such acts of sadism and brutality, like that is one of those things you could only look at it and go, there is just something wrong with that brain chemistry that will never be fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you see a lot of serial killers, there's a lot of frontal lobe damage, which impacts reasoning and control. So they have a lot of bad impulse control. They have a lot of anger issues. And you can see how a frontal lobe damage will cause this lack of impulse control where they will lash out and suddenly violently do something. But when it's just like, oh, she's just a 10-year-old girl, and I'm sure if you look into it, there's probably physical abuse or traumatic abuse that led to her.
I just read on the end of that she puts it down to her sexual and physical abuse as a child while she committed a crime. She never denied anything. She said that was why she did it.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that is something that is just it's indescribable when you read, and I don't want to say in detail, but like when you read even like an overview of Wikipedia, that's not all the details, Clint. Like when they're saying, like it is very brutal what she did to those boys, and you know, to me that's just like I said, that's born evil. That's the demon seed. That was her nickname, the demon seed, Mary Bell. So I hope I ruined your guys' nights because it's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah, it's only going to go down.
Yeah. No, that one is definitely compelling. And I wouldn't say it ruined my night, but makes me worry about my child.
Sleeping one eye open.
Yeah, she's too sweet to murder anybody.
Well,
too sweet for that.
I mean, the thing is, even if you look up a picture of her, she doesn't look like a monster. She looks like a sweet little kid.
Yeah. No, I saw it. She definitely looked like, someone you would never suspect of having thoughts like that. Even just a cute kid that you'd want to be nice to.
Oh yeah. Real quick, the way that she got caught was they actually found the initials MB carved into one of the kids, and so they put it together. Because of her like going around and like taunted the families. Maybe we should bring this girl in to have a conversation, and she never denied it. She's like, "Yeah."
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, no fear of the authorities either. She's just like, yeah,
psychopath.
Yeah, it was me.
Complete psychopathy.
What of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that almost sparks of like a sociopath, like an emotionalist person who just doesn't understand, the how emotions work, even other than how to manipulate other people by using theirs against them. Yeah, very dangerous people. So she was doing that at 10. Who knows what she's like? Wow, that's some scary shit.
10-year-old, crazy, isn't it?
You can't imagine it.
No, it can't. I never suspected. But anyhow, good one. Jesus.
Yeah, good.
Well, Bacons, I know you were doing some homework earlier. Did you unearth something that you'd like to to throw out there for the group?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the only one I've got written down because I ended up editing pictures until.
You can't say Claire.
Hey?
You can't say Claire.
That's not fun.
Yeah, she can't. She cannot be your selection because she has not been convicted of any crimes yet.
This is true.
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
When Rich goes missing, you know where to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's like in the UK, but I mean, but here in America, there is the marriage privilege, where you are not obligated to turn your loved one into the authorities
or testify.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know about this here. I've not.
I'm going to check that one out.
Okay.
Maybe I should
Check it
move.
out. Yeah.
Oh man.
But anyway.
So I've got one here. It's Mary Ann Cotton.
I've heard that. I've looked at that. Go ahead.
Yeah, she poisoned with arsenic her mum, 3 husbands and a lover, and all her 11 children.
Fuck.
But the reason this one caught my eye is when she was convicted, they sentenced her to hanging, and apparently she was getting hung by a notoriously clumsy hangman. They set the trapdoor not high enough to break her neck, so the hangman had to pretty much sit on her shoulders until she died.
Oh.
And that's why that one stuck out to me. It's not a big one. I didn't really read that much on it, I'll be honest. But then there wasn't that much what I read.
Ah. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Probably.
Yeah, because, you know, I think by 1873, they were probably pretty proficient at hanging people and knew exactly what they were doing.
They've been doing it long enough, haven't they?
They've been doing it before that. They probably didn't have like own skills.
Yeah.
So hang on, I got a really bad joke.
They were hanging witches before then.
I got a joke. It's in really
for
bad taste, but if I was gonna hire executioner, I would kind of want a fumble one, so they would just inflict the most amount of pain on somebody.
Wow. Wow. Chris the sadist here.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, oh no, it's just a bad joke. It's like, you know, who do they got? Like the guy with like 2 fingers trying to tie the noose or something?
Yeah, exactly. Give me Cheech and Chong. I want them to hang me, you know.
No,
Yeah.
but you're right. By that time, they had it down to almost. Well, it is a science of hanging.
Yeah.
Like they tie it on a certain position of the neck. I'm gonna come off sounding completely psychopathic tonight because, like I said, I
know far too much, Chris.
You know, I studied this. It was for college courses.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 Nothing to do with personal interest.
No.
You know, we still had hanging in the U.S. until 2016.
Hey, Mayor Henley's here.
Hey,
Mike, I hate you.
Why do you
We were sitting here.
You're the
We were
one.
sitting here trying to
Posted
figure
them.
out how to apply a filter of the hairstyle.
No, no,
I'm kidding. We're not
no,
doing
Mike. Damn it.
Yeah, Mike.
that.
How is everybody?
Oh, we are
Super.
fine. How are you?
thanks.
How are you?
Tired,
So-
but okay. Still here.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we're trying to
Did you know
figure
that
out.
we still had hangings in the U.S. until 2016.
Yeah.
In some states, it's still.
Delaware, I'm just
Wyoming,
lying,
right?
so I didn't make myself look like an idiot. I wanted to verify.
Yeah.
Delaware and Washington, before the death penalty was abolished, had hangings.
Correct.
Mhm.
Wow.
Or correct. I am
I
from
was like,
Delaware.
could you go to a hanging? Like they hang somebody, like in
No.
the old times. Where are you going tonight? I was like, there's a hanging in town.
Yeah.
I can tell you that we had 2 methods. We had lethal injection and hanging. You had a choice of how you wanted to face it. We actually had firing squad for a while too.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to do a thing on the death penalty a while ago, and
Oh, so did I. Not a while. When I say a while ago, I mean like what, 25 years
yeah,
now?
no, for me it was a long time ago too. But yeah, I remember there was a couple that had firing squads too. You're gonna go? I would go to. How could you not choose hanging?
That's the
You're
most.
gonna kill me? Or like go out in style, like it.
So when hanging is done correctly, it actually is instantaneous. It snaps the neck and your lights out.
I'd be one of those assholes where the guy has to jump on my shoulders and fucking.
When you're
Yeah.
quote unquote,
even that wouldn't go right for me.
when you're quote unquote a notoriously bad hangman, it can last up to half an hour for you to just sit there and
Did they still use the guys with the black hoods and everything?
No.
They're saying harder than it doesn't work.
They
I
had
would
it
request
set
like a
up.
big hairy guy with the black hood on himself, like
So
Somebody I would have dated.
how they-
Yeah.
how they did it. they had the guy basically like turn a key that activated the trap door, as opposed like the old school where they like pulled the lever.
yeah.
They don't really do that anymore. The whole thing is like with the firing squad, I think only 2 of them have bullets out of the 5 or 6.
Yes.
They're never
Right.
quite sure.
And they don't know who has the live rounds or not.
And just like
Mhm.
lethal injections, it's 2 people turning the key.
Mhm.
So they don't know which one actually was the button man, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
But why?
what's that?
Why?
So you can alleviate guilt.
So you have
So you're
somewhere
Not
in the
just down
mind
to
that
one
maybe
person.
I wasn't the one that killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in case just in case it's one of those things where it's like, especially like firing squad, like if you're in prison and you are like, hey, you have to go shoot somebody today, like that's a heavy burden to bear. Even if you think you're ready for it, to know that you've taken a life, even if you think it's in the service of duty, can actually weigh on you. So they always like to give that benefit of the doubt to people.
Not for me. Sign me up.
Yep. Well,
How do I put my application in?
what is this? Tales from the Crypt?
Which was a Sadler episode. Thank
Yes.
you.
The man who was
William
dead.
Sadler
Yep.
comes back again.
Oh.
But if I
First
was to go,
episode
I would
ever.
request,
There's
that'd be
a
my
reason
final
I brought
request,
that
an
up.
old-fashioned hanging.
7
I want
degrees to William
Big guy
Sadler.
with the black hood. I want him to drive up in an El Camino before he pulls the lever.
Well,
That would be
Wouldn't
epic.
that long?
That would be
if
epic.
you really want your minds blown,
Playing Lowrider.
if you really want
I'm
your
going
minds
out for everybody. I did this all for you.
they actually still had guillotine executions up until the mid-century of the 1900s.
Mhm.
Christopher
Wow.
Lee, the actor, went to the very last guillotine execution.
Wow.
Wow. That's cool.
Jesus.
I just
Yeah.
saw a TikTok of a guy making a guillotine, and I just sat there wondering, what frickin' rabbit hole did I go down to get here?
Yeah.
Your algorithm is very messed up now, sir.
It's
It
not.
was all the
Was it
noxious
full
fumes
size
from your dog's fart.
Yeah, he's doing full size.
to scale? Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's the matter with that person?
Well, look at what they did with Saddam Hussein. He was hung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about hangings, that put me in mind of a movie that if you haven't seen it, I'm going to recommend it to you.
It's not the gallows, is it? Please don't
No.
make it gallows.
No. It's not even a horror movie. It's more of a drama. But it's called Dancer in the Dark, and it stars Bjork. Anybody seen it?
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
who Jork is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a Bjork is.
Yeah, awesome.
She's the Icelandic singer
Yeah.
who reached popularity a few years back. They don't talk about her a
Now
lot
you're just making up words.
anymore. Am I? Okay.
She wore
Went
the
to the Grammys
swan
and her
dress.
breast
Yeah.
was like a swan.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
It was like the head and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. So like, it was a convoluted storyline where she borrowed some money from somebody. She was this poor woman who was gradually losing her sight, and her son suffered from the same affliction as her. And she knew from her own situation that if you had a surgery soon enough in life, that you could avoid going totally blind. So her mission basically was to make sure that her son didn't go blind. And she went about trying to raise as much money as possible in order to pay for his surgery. But ultimately, somebody that she borrowed money from was a complete weirdo who tried to use the money as leverage against her and put her in a really awful position. And ultimately, she ended up killing him. But she did manage to get the money together to pay for her son's surgery, but she did not escape the death penalty as a result of her murder. So, but they hanged her. So that's why I bring it up. It's a good movie. It's an excellent drama. If you want to give it a chance, go look for it. Dancer in the Dark.
So since we're on Bjork, I'll take a little sidestep here.
Okay.
There is actually I don't know if the word is interesting. Like we keep using these words like, oh, this guy is compelling and everything. Like these are very disturbed.
Oh yeah.
Deranged. So take what I'm saying, the words that I don't have a word other than what it is. Bjork had a stalker.
I know what you're. Yep. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I know what you're going to say.
And it's a descent into madness and hell. There's 30 hours of him doing like a video blog. His idea was to make a bomb and send it to Bjork that had acid in it, so that when she opened it up, it was like a book or something, it would disfigure and kill her, or not kill her, but basically, disfigure her and everything like that. So I'm going to pull the name out, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. It's Nardo, I think, something like that. I can't remember the first name, but they have snippets of the video blogs on YouTube, and it is insanity what this guy, he basically put a gun in his mouth and blew his brains out on a sign in the back that said "the best parts of me" as like his final artistic statement. I'm completely shocked at what I'm saying here.
No, I was trying to Google it.
Is it Nardo?
Ricardo Lopez?
Ricardo, sorry.
Yeah. No.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and they actually found him and played the tapes before the package got to her. So she was not, I mean, she was in danger, but she didn't, there was no injury to her or anybody. They were able to intercept the package.
Yeah. Attempted murder of Bjork and series of video diaries finishing with recorded suicide. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I watched some of those videos.
That's terrifying.
It was scary because he was just so calm, and then he was getting ready to do it, and I remember him saying, I don't know how I remember this, it was so long ago. Yeah. He's like, I'm getting a little nervous now, and he starts, and
yeah, you're right.
His brains out.
Wow. Okay, so he had poor self-esteem, was socially reclusive, and he eventually developed an obsession with Bjork in 1993, hoping to be engaged with her. He was particularly angry over her brief relationship with the English musician Goldie. Over the course of nearly nine months in 1996, he made video diaries about her and other topics at his apartment in Hollywood, Florida. So on September 12th, 1996, Lopez mailed a letter bomb rigged with sulfuric acid to Bjork's residence in London. Then returned home, recorded a final video diary explaining his motivations, and ended it filming his suicide by gunshot.
Yep.
Hollywood police found his body in the video 4 days after his death. They contacted the London Metropolitan Police about the package, who intercepted its delivery, and Bjork was unharmed. Wow.
Well, that was lucky.
Yep.
Jesus. And all I did was talk about a movie. Look at that. Yeah.
See what rabbit hole you opened up?
Yeah. Well, this gives me some weird insight into the dark brain of Chris. Thank God we have no watchers.
I was gonna say,
Chris keeps talking. I got 911 ready to go here.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's the blessing and curse of having a really, really strong memory. Is I tend to remember, like, I don't necessarily have a photographic memory, but I have a very, very, very strong retention.
Yeah.
And like going down, like all of
I
this
remember
stuff,
what that's like.
now it's just filled with hops and bong resin.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hey, I can't say there's anything wrong with that either.
Nah. But like you said, it's one of those things where I took classes on this kind of stuff. Not specifically serial killers, but basically like human psychology and everything like that. And it led to, like, I want to learn more about what makes these guys tick, just kind of my own personal curiosity. And it leads you to stuff like Ricardo Lopez, to these outliers of society. You know, it's the human capacity for destructive behaviors absolutely unmeasurable. Absolutely.
I just wonder, like, what, because I was the same way. Like when I was in school, I think the only class I ever got an A in was psychology. And anytime they gave us like free creative realm, you know, I would always do something on capital punishment, on serial killers, on nobody. It was the 80s. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody, you know, nowadays parents would be called, you know. But it was the same way. I want to know what could happen to somebody to make them crack like that.
So what is your take on it? Do you think it is nature, nurture? Do you think it's a combination of the two?
I think it's nurture. I think it has to do with I think it's majority of it is nurture. What happens to somebody in their childhood, you know, some people survive it and are okay, other people, and that's when it comes to nature, like other people, maybe their sanity is just not all there to begin with. And when something traumatic happens, they just snap, where someone else might be able to push through it, you know?
So there's an interesting fact that a lot of CEOs actually test really high on the psychopathy scale. And
I've heard that.
Basically the same traits that you need to be a successful CEO are also the same traits that you need to be, I don't want to say successful, but lend well to the areas of serial murder. And,
well, they are kind of similar.
I mean, but it's just
most CEOs are narcissists.
It's just one of those things where it's like the path split, and instead of running Dairy Queen, they're burying bodies in the desert. You know,
yeah.
Interesting how whatever that person who went and became the CEO in their life nurtured them to do that, whereas something else would have taken them down this other path.
Bombs are dropping.
Who's got the purge siren going?
That's
not me.
That's well, I'm texting.
Oh yeah.
I got excited.
But yeah, so like before you came on, Nicole, and I don't want to rehash it because I want to hear what Ryan's choice is. Are you familiar with Mary Bell?
No.
Okay, real quick overview. UK, 10-year-old girl murdered 2 boys very brutally. Out at 23, completely anonymous now.
I know. I think it wasn't. Didn't they do a documentary on her called something like "This Child is Evil" or something like that?
They called her in the press the Demon Seed. If that rings any bells, but it's like the world's most evil child. I think. Yeah,
and and they showed interviews with her with psychologists and stuff, and she would sit there talking about this stuff like it was nothing. Like, yeah, I think about killing my mother in the middle of the night, and you know, while she's playing with a Barbie, you know, like. I think I know who you're talking about. If it's the same one.
Like I said, it was in, what did we say there, 60s, 70s?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's freaky. I'm not trying to step on Clint, but I've kind of talked over everybody here, so I'll step back here.
I actually had a point you were saying earlier when you were talking about Mary Bell, when we said again about the nature nurture. How does a 7-year-old know how to commit those acts if they haven't seen them? Or a 10-year-old, you know?
And like I said,
yeah, did her family work in a slaughterhouse? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Well,
Yeah, like
there's
something
the
could have
abuse
happened to her
side
when
of
she
it,
was
as you
2
say, demon
that we
seed.
don't know.
But you don't. It's being evil and knowing how to execute that at that age. It has to have been shown, surely, to back up your theory, Chris, of abuse.
So I mean, there is. I don't want to try to get too deep into it, but with abuse, there comes a level of restraint that an adult has that a child of 10 would not have. I'm not saying this to say this. Like, I know what I'm doing. I don't beat my nephews and nieces. But if I know enough how I could hurt them without killing them, whereas a child would not know how not to hurt or inflict death onto somebody because that concept might be foreign to them, as opposed to an adult goes, I can hit Clint with my fist and he would be okay. But if I hit him with this pair of scissors, I would kill him. I know that as an adult. But
why Clint?
It's,
I don't know.
Because Buck played that
being
part.
a good lad.
I'm an easy target, I guess.
So there is some I don't want to say some studies, but there's some relevance to she was probably abused and she wanted to inflict that pain on somebody else. But being that she was so young, she didn't know I can't hit somebody with a knife because that will kill them.
Right,
So
their
it's like
brains
the
aren't
Lenny
even
and the
formed.
Bunny theory, isn't it? It's like hug them and kiss them and squirt. It's like that. It's like when
Yeah.
kids are 2.
So, I mean,
They don't know the difference between being gentle and being forceful. Similar.
I'm not trying to diminish that. Maybe, a 10-year-old probably knows if you stab somebody, they'll die.
Yeah.
But maybe the concept to her wasn't like, oh, well, I'm not going to hurt him that bad if I do this. Because she tortured the kid. The kid, I should say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
You know what comes to mind is, I'm assuming everyone has seen The Walking Dead, or is at least familiar with it.
To a degree, yeah.
Do you remember Lizzie? She was like 9 or 10 years old, and she would be out in the yard, like playing with the zombies, and she killed her sister to turn her into a zombie.
Yeah, okay.
Like to make sure she didn't die. It's just like that. Like she has no brain capacity to realize what she's doing. And then Carol had to shoot her.
That might be why she kind of, I don't want to say got off, because she did serve.
Look at the flowers.
Yeah, look at the flowers, Lizzie.
But that's interesting that they use the words diminished capacity. Anybody familiar with that term knows it's basically like you didn't know what you were doing was absolutely wrong.
Right.
Whereas like with the insanity plea, like, most of the time they get them with the triad because it's like, did you take steps to cover your crime? Yep. Well, then you weren't insane. An insane wouldn't try to do that.
Right.
So, but with diminished capacity, is a lot kind of what they did with Ed Gein too, where they're just like, yo, this dude is just nuts. We need to just lock him up.
Yeah.
But it's like, if he goes, if they truly say he was insane, there's a misleading thought that you could get off. You don't serve time. No, that's not true. If you are declared insane, in most states in America, I don't know about the UK, I can only speak for America, they will treat you until you are declared competent to stand trial. And then you will stand trial. Because part of us is being able to understand what we're being charged with and the proceedings in order to help our defense give the best defense that they can. If a person can't do that, well, they don't receive a fair trial, which is why they go to insanity. They send them to a mental facility to get help. Then they put them on trial.
I don't think that happens here, does it? I think once you've been classed as mentally unwell and locked up, I don't think you get made better and then have to stand trial, do you? Yeah.
No, so. We have a lot of places like Broadmoor Mental Hospital, which are essentially more like prisons. They are. I mean, we have a huge asylum thing in this country, which is only literally now being shut down over the last 20 years. And there was so many criminally insane or, people deemed as mentally unfit or couldn't make their own decisions that literally for minor things that our country literally just shoved everyone in mental hospitals, no matter if you had committed a murder or whatever. It was used a lot in this country to say that because you would go into an asylum. Not to say that our asylums were very grim. It was probably as bad as going into prison.
Can I ask you a few questions, Bacons?
Yeah, of course.
I'm 100% familiar with UK law. I'll say UK because I know it's not necessarily just English, and I don't want to say English and,
It does change between not so much Wales, but definitely Scotland and Ireland is different to England as such.
I'm more familiar with the British, but I do know that they do have something called detained by Her Majesty's pleasure, which is basically we're not giving you a sentence. We're just going to keep you for as long as we want to keep you. So they don't actually get a like a life term here is 25. So if you get life in prison, you could get parole after 25 years. Then you have what we call life without parole, which means you're going to die in prison.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, correct me, because like I said, I'm not 100% familiar. But you guys don't have that life without parole. You have the special circumstance where you will just be detained. Correct or false?
Yeah, we have that, and we also have multiple life sentences, but our life sentence is actually only 15 years.
And on good behaviour, you get out in 7.5.
And you get out in 7.5. So they will give you multiple life sentences, so you could get multiple life sentences till you wouldn't be alive by that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also detained at Her Majesty. So we do have sentences where they are open-ended.
Wow. Yeah.
And our sentencing in this country is very harsh when you're offended in prison, which I'm sure it's probably the same in America, where you can get time for lots of extra time for very small things in our prisons. Where
Charlie Bronson.
Charles Bronson is a massive. If you know his story.
Oh, I'm familiar with
Have you seen the film Bronson?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, his story was literally for what he actually did. He spent his entire life in prison, and
how long has he been in there? No,
he served his actual time for his original crime 30 years ago, but because of little incidents that happened, his notoriety.
They've extended his time. Gotcha.
So they just extend and they extend and they extend.
Yeah, we do a little of that here.
So I have a thought on that. I do know that you had stated that a lot of times they'll declare them mentally, criminally insane and just throw them away for very small.
It's diminished. We have diminished responsibility, and we have I don't know how the phrase it is. It's definitely, as you say, it's classed as you crazy. Basically, we have a term for it. I don't even know what it is. I should know.
We have a couple of big notorious prisons for that. There's Rampton and Broadmoor, which you said earlier.
So what I'm trying to get at is, wouldn't that be a way to get career criminals off the street for longer stretches? If a guy goes in and does petty robbery and he gets a year, gets out, does petty robbery, gets a year, it goes in and out, cycles. If they have that
petty robbery in our country, you would be lucky if he got a fine and community service. There is no way anyone would go to prison for that time in this country at all.
No.
They wouldn't even be lucky if they didn't go, oh, right, pay us 20 quid a week for the next 2 years and do 30 hours community service, see you later. And that could be multiple offences at petty robbery.
So even if it's, I say petty robbery, because petty robbery here might get you 6 months. if that.
Oh God, no! You probably walk away from it 3 or 4 times with this tiny little fine in this country before, and especially because we don't have firearms, unless it's sort of gang related in the inner cities. Really, there's farmers. That's it.
To me, that strikes as a way to get these career criminals off the streets and able to slap them with like a recidivism thing with us. So we have a thing called like 3 strikes, where if you are convicted of 3 felonies, you're just incarcerated for life.
No, we don't have that either.
No.
But like I'm saying, if they get classed as like criminally insane and they get sent to Broadmoor strange ways, they are off the street and they're not doing their cycles of crime where they're in and out of prison. They're just in, and they're
totally agree. But again, with the fact that would have come down to, as I say, like the asylums and sort of the prisons for people like that. Literally, it was all dealt with that way, and there is so many of these places overcrowded now that literally there's plenty of insane people walking around even in this town that have been kicked out of group homes or care places. And I mean, proper people that have got convictions that are, pretty crazy. And there's nowhere to put them in these hospitals. They're all absolutely, and the asylums are all gone now. And there's not that many prison-style mental health hospitals to hold them anymore. There isn't places for them in this country at all. It would be a great way to get them off the street and to give the care, but that isn't there at all.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm familiar enough to be an idiot in UK law.
No, our laws are so different to yours, and they're really strange. It's, definitely, the law system, especially with, as I said, like things like lack of firearms, is completely different. Your policing is completely different to ours.
But it also varies state to state.
No, it's countrywide. But you think like Britain is probably smaller than some of your states.
No, I'm just saying, for us, is different from state to state.
Yeah, like the state.
How authoritarian the policing is actually here.
No, it's all completely the same. We don't have it like that way. It's like the law's the law in this country, and that's it. Until you go to Scotland and Wales or Ireland.
And our laws are really soft compared to yours.
Really soft. Like, if you got pulled over and got asked to turn your engine off, put your hands out of the car and get out of the car, you'd get out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Nah, dickheads around here would literally just go, fuck you, and drive off. Because they have no laws to stop and shoot you, or they have no firearms.
Oh, okay.
It's completely different in this country.
Yeah. Because
Bill's soft over there, I hear.
Oh, God, it is. It's so soft over here.
Like where I am in Penn, and it's crazy because how it does state. I hate that it's state to state sometimes. Like I'm in Pennsylvania. If I want to carry a gun, I fill out my application, give it to the police department, pay a fee. 2 weeks later, as long as they don't find anything in my mental health or criminal record, I have a permit to carry a gun. New Jersey, you can't carry a gun unless you're law enforcement. Like it's nearly impossible for a citizen to carry a concealed weapon in New Jersey. Yeah. Texas, people walk around with them hanging out of their pockets, like.
So what's even worse
is so different.
If you are completely legal in Pennsylvania, by doing something that is completely legal in Pennsylvania, breaking the law in New Jersey, and that is insane.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that a state law should supersede. We're getting way off into the weeds here.
Yeah.
But
I'm
investing
still.
It's just insane that like 1 mile here, you are a law-abiding citizen. A mile here, you could be convicted with a felony, sent to jail for 7 years for firearms violation, and it's
right over the bridge. I am 20 minutes from New Jersey, right over the bridge, and I could be, but if you can still have a gun in your home and not have a permit to carry.
Yeah.
So right now I do not have my permit, but I have one in my home. So if somebody were to come through my front door right now, I could shoot him and kill him, no problem.
Well, I could see Mike's coming, so get ready for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
turned
I
off his
mean,
mic and his video and his everything. He's on his way.
I'm going to keep that comment to myself.
even our normal police don't carry guns. That's armed police. That's something completely different in this country. Our normal police do not carry firearms.
Oh God, we have
Only
ours carry guns,
Firearms
batons,
officers
pepper
carry
spray,
firearms.
AR-14s,
AR-14s.
Yeah.
And they'll carry a baton and a taser, and that's it.
And as nuts as I am, I know I am extremely overly paranoid, a human being. I know I am. I have trained my son. When you come home, I can hear the front door open from my upstairs bedroom. You need to let me know it's you. Not that I would ever shoot without seeing a target, but
No, but
you have to just yell up the stairs, "It's me," and just so I know not to be coming around the corner with a loaded gun. But yeah, it's.
I mean, Rich ones. One of our kids had come home unexpectedly. Actually, when we lived next door in a different house, when they were teenagers, and he was supposed to be out for the night, and he'd come home unexpectedly, and he'd had a few drinks, and we could hear the dog sort of rattling on the bottom stairs, and then somebody coming up the stairs, then somebody opening the flat door, and sort of. And by the time he went to walk through the door, Rich was outside the back of the door with a bat.
Stood waiting to swing. For first face that comes around that door.
It's like, just tell us you're coming home. You know, it's like 3 a.m. It's like you hear weird noises.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got bats next to my bed. I've got everything.
Yeah, I have. I've got hockey stick. I've got.
I don't even lock my door.
The only thing you got to worry about is a moose coming in.
Yeah.
What about the moose?
I'd be scared of a moose. I can tell you that.
See, I would welcome a moose.
That's free food right there. Moose wants to get stuck in my mudroom. I'm okay with that.
If anything happens in his house, he just lets the dog fart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured it out. It's her wet food. We gave her some venison food, and I opened it up tonight. That's exactly what the smell that's coming out of her ass.
Oh God!
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Poor thing.
For Christmas, we all chipped in and we're sending you a big
80 pounds of it. 80 pounds.
Yeah.
A case of Febreze.
Don't waste it. Don't waste it.
I'm interested to hear in Ryan's choice.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. I'm sorry. As soon as I came in, we got off topic. I'm sorry.
No, that
you
was
kidding
a great
me?
conversation.
This gave me plenty of time to research. I had no
I came in from the yard and we're all talking about the Second Amendment.
Yeah. Well,
What did I miss?
and
just the differences in laws in countries. That's all.
and I let the opportunity go by, but I thought that I was really interested in the detainment by Your Majesty, and I thought that really smacked kind of hard of the Patriot Act over here.
Oh,
You know, where it's like all you have to do is basically suspect someone of being a terrorist, and you could detain them for no reason for an almost unlimited amount of time. Which that's scary shit.
Well, do you know, nearly every terrorist that's been arrested in our country, they've all been on a watch list. They've all been suspected of being terrorists, yet they're just left to just move about.
Yeah.
Every time it comes up, that.
Yeah.
They haven't caught me yet.
Oh, well, you know. They're not going to come for you. They all know you're a teddy bear.
And I can run really, really fast. I can. I've got
You
new
have to be
tricks.
the fastest, as long as you're not the slowest.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to be the fastest.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Ryan, what have you unearthed?
Good news. Since I couldn't use my phone, I dug out a really old tablet.
Woo.
And after, basically the whole time everybody's been talking, it's been updating. But it is working, and I have something.
Wow. All right. I can't wait.
Okay. So I pulled up BuzzFeed, and I have, does anybody know of this one? Mary Beth Tinning.
What's her nickname if she has one?
She does not really have one.
What 1 year is active? What was the year's active?
So I've been reading it. I don't need it. She was basically active through the mid 70s to early 80s. She only murdered her children, 9 of
Only.
them, over the course of 14 years.
Jeez.
Several various methods through poisonings, throwing pillows over their faces, stuff like that. Nobody even got suspicious. Not even her husband, who himself she tried to murder by poisoning, and it just got him in the hospital. It was all basically chalked up to genetic birth defects until her 9th child died, an adopted one who had no blood relation.
Yeah.
Then they looked into it. She eventually admitted to murdering 3 of the children, including the 9th one, who was only 4 months old. She was only officially convicted for 1, and only at 2nd-degree murder. She spent 20 years in prison, and as of 2018, she's out and living in the world.
Please tell me she's too old to give birth again.
I would hope so. Well, with today's medications.
Was this the one where they considered it Munchausen by proxy?
Yes, yeah, she was diagnosed with Munchausen's by proxy.
Yeah, there's a reason there's a doctor in front of my name right now.
That is a very interesting condition.
Well, what gave it away was the fact that it's 2nd-degree murder and not first.
Right.
2nd-degree murder.
Yeah, because she was diagnosed with Munchausen's by proxy.
Some sort of underlying issue being involved in there. So that's what kind of tipped the hat.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, that's
still murder.
That's still murder, and maybe instead of 2nd-degree murder and being in jail for 20 years, maybe she should be in some other facility for the rest of her life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she should be sterilized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who hurts a child or kills a child should automatically be sterilized.
Yeah, that is one of
you
those
would think that would
things-
be a given.
Yeah.
It's
Very it's not.
They should never see the light of day again, should they?
Nope.
No.
Well, look at. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
No.
No, I keep all these like.
Me and Nicole are
connecting
I was
thoughts.
going to say, Nicole, it was a BuzzFeed article. It was basically one paragraph. You're not interrupting because I got nothing else.
It made me think of Casey Anthony. Like, she's free to do whatever she wants, including having more children. That should not be at all.
Right.
As bad as it's gonna sound, there's no laws forbidding people from not having children.
That's disgusting.
Read into it what you will.
You can't carry a gun in New Jersey, but
yeah, as many kids as you want.
Yeah, so I mean, there's something about the human rights to be able to produce as many children, offspring as you want. That going into forced sterilization is a slippery slope, because if you could do it for crimes against this, well, what about not crimes for that? That's the whole argument of like health and everything like that. It's like, well, which issues would you consider would disqualify someone from doing this or doing that? And then you have that argument, that slippery slope into, oh, well, Nicole had a bad day Tuesday, therefore she can't now vote for anybody.
Yeah.
So it's basically a one or none.
And that's what's sad. You know, it should be case by case by case. But we don't have the time or the tax dollars to do that for everybody. So it's, you know, you killed somebody, you get life in prison. Well, there could be other elements to it, but yeah, it's pretty
like
black and white here.
You bring up a good point. What is the fighter's name? There's a UFC fighter, MMA fighter. He did wrestling for a little bit.
The dude that killed his wife?
No. He either attempted murdered or murdered someone who was sexually abusing either his daughter or his niece, someone in like blood relation. And people like,
it was me, it wouldn't be attempted, that's for sure.
They're like, wouldn't even be in prison. Like,
No.
So at the end of the day, it is murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but with just cause.
With just cause. I think there is a statute called justifiable homicide.
Yes.
Which is completely insane, where they could basically say you were being charged with homicide, but under the circumstances, it's completely justifiable and why you had to do it. So in Delaware, we don't have self-defense. If you are attacked, you can't fight back.
Bullshit. Sorry.
I was gonna say, however, there is circumstances to that. Like if someone's trying to beat me to death, I'm gonna fight back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch a charge and I'll probably be dismissed. But it's gonna still show on my record that I was charged, the case was dismissed, served no time, probably won't even have that much to do. They'd probably even let me out that night. You know what I mean? But I'm still gonna be showed that I was booked for this, which I think is completely wrong, but I understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And those circumstances, yeah, like if you negligently murder your kid, Casey Anthony, you shouldn't be allowed to have anymore. Like if you're a kid, if my nephew breaks something that I give him, oh, you don't get that anymore. You don't get to have that toy anymore.
Right.
But like I said, it's a one or none.
Yeah.
How about you, Nicole? What you got for us? I know
I got nothing. I'm completely unprepared.
Wow. Okay.
So-
I'm not very prepared. either,
mainly
but there you
'cause-
go, worry.
It's just
Nicole,
I've
female
got another
serial
one like
killers.
I'm prepared too. Clint texted me at like 5 till. He's like, "Hey, you want to talk about serial killers?" I certainly do. Let me set up.
But we're just doing females, right?
So,
Yes.
we are.
Okay. Yeah, I
But-
got Aileen Wuornos.
But I mean, it's 2022, really. You know, anybody can be a female.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
that's right.
No, I mean
No
that in the
comment,
nicest
no
way.
comment.
I mean that in the nicest way. I'm just saying it opens up the
I'm
ability
pretty
to talk
sure
about
Robert Picton did not identify
anybody.
No.
Yep.
The only
So-
one I have I did
Talk
last
about
time.
Eileen Wuornos. Let's talk
Eileen
about
Wuornos.
Eileen
I did her
Wuornos.
last time. She was
Yeah.
my first pick. She got a raw deal.
Here. You can
Again,
listen-
nature versus nurture.
Oh no, she was.
She went through hell as a kid.
I understand that, but the thing with her, I would even not classify her as a serial killer. One of the most debatable things are killing for profit or as a job solicitation. So hitmen do not classify as serial killers. So
True.
Richard Kluklinski, the Iceman, apparently 75
I
people.
shouldn't have smiled at that. I'm sorry.
75 people this guy killed. He's not a serial killer because his main motive was profit.
Yeah.
So
He just did it.
He just did it for money. Eileen Wuornos, despite probably enjoying what she did it for money because she robbed the dudes.
Yeah. She did.
So-
See, he did.
I think the main motive for her committed the murders was money, was to rob those people and also kill them.
It was, but unlike the Iceman, like the Iceman did it to give his family a nice home and to have fancy cars and all that stuff. Aileen did it for survival, basically. She didn't know any other way.
You know, to quote Ramirez, though, killing is killing, whether it's done for duty, profit, or fun.
True.
So, regardless of the situation of him being able to do that because he's a mob hitman and probably making very good money off of every hit that he did, whether it's for a $10,000 or $10, if you're killing someone strictly for the money, that is your motivation for the murder. So I would say that she classifies but there's a strong case that she doesn't classify. I'm not trying to take it away from her, but I'm just saying for me, she's very interesting because, well, yeah, she could say, I enjoyed killing those guys, but I did it to rob them.
Right.
They don't fight back when they're dead. So,
And it goes back to nature versus nurture. Like she went through abuse, that was nurture, but something. There are people that went through similar and some worse, and they never killed anybody. So where does that depends on how fragile your brain is.
So I always come down to like the 80-20. So it's probably 80% nurture and 20% brain chemistry. How you're raised matters more than how your brain is wired. But that 20% does 80% of your personality. So regardless if you're raised in the most wonderful household, if you are wired that 20% wrong, you have an 80% chance of turning out like a Ted Bundy, like an Eileen Warnos.
Right.
Like all of these people.
And that's something, I think it's one of the reasons it's fascinated me so much, because, and I never get personal here, but technically, statistically, I should be a serial killer. I went through.
Well, one of us is. There's 6 of us, 7 of
I
us.
have never killed
possibly
anybody.
2 of us could be, but definitely one of us could be.
Yeah, one of us is a psychopath, apparently.
Can it be me?
But it's like, like what is different about my brain that's different from hers? Why was I able to not go down that path and she was? I don't understand that.
I mean, like I said, it's that 20% of your personality makeup, 80% nature, 20% no, got that backwards. 80% nurture and 20%, nature. That the nature part, the brain chemistry is so strong that no matter how you're raised, you're almost ingrained that I don't want to even say that it's like predestination, but there's so much to say that you will turn out this way because of this way your brain is made up. Right. Just the way you're wired, just the way the connections are made. A lot of sadists, sadomasochistic serial killers, their first sexual experience is very much tied to some sort of act of cruelty.
Right.
So it's very much, once that connections are made, those connections are bonded. It's much like a newborn. Like that bond that they have with the mother, with the father. Once that is connected, it's so hard to break that bond.
Yeah.
You almost have to physically remove the kid and rewire them that this is now my parental unit. Whereas someone whose brain is just like, I am not wired to think this way. It's from birth, but you can kind of control the steer away from the psychopathy and towards something productive. And sometimes it's finding music at the early age, or finding a love really early, instead of finding that I really like it when I torture animals, or I really like it when I set fires. You know what I mean?
Horror movies. That was my love.
But once those connections are founded, it's so hard to break that neurochemistry. So like, even with like bad habits, how people are like, oh, I can't break my bad habits. It's because they're ingrained in you.
Yeah.
Like it takes 6 weeks to 3 months or something to make a good habit stick. But a bad habit will pick up like that.
Oh yeah.
We reinforce our bad habits because we know the bad habits either bring us pleasure or make it easy to do work or whatever that bad habit allows it to do. Other than that, like, we can argue nature and nurture all night, and we'll go back and forth on every single one because it's like, oh, it's nature, and then, oh no, it's nurture, oh then, oh, it's nature. I mean, sometimes it's the right moment in their life, and it just flips the switch. I mean, we know next to nothing about how the pathways in our brains correspond to what they are. We can map the brain all we want. We still don't know how personality is, how ego is, how superego is, where narcissism comes from. We know the part of the brain it comes from, but even though that you have it and I have the same thing, I might not be the same way. And then we also know that damage to the brain can completely change a personality. Damage to the brain can completely erase memories. We don't know how these things are formed. We don't know how they're stored, but we all have them. It's a common element of the human condition. Emotions, all of this stuff. We don't know. We don't know about the brain, which is why psychology is so interesting, because we could sit around and theorize all night long and make these lists and say, oh, she was a sadist at 10. Probably some abuse. Yep, there's abuse. Oh, she got, she killed her kids. Oh, is it Munchausen by proxy? Yep, that's what she was diagnosed with. And then someone comes along like Eileen Wuornos and be like, I don't know. I have no idea. So, but I also think with her, there was a lot of mental issues going on too.
Yeah.
If you saw Broomfield's documentary, both of them, she comes across like a lunatic. She's completely fine, and then just goes into rants about UFOs and their radio signals in her cells to put pressure on her brain to make her think crazy thoughts and all this other stuff. And it's like, that's not, if it's an act, it's a very convincing act to me. And if it isn't an act, then she's insane, But once again, we have the McNaughton, oh, what's the first rule of the McNaughton? Oh, did they do anything to cover up their tracks? Well, yeah, well, then they're not crazy. And I think that is the bigger thing, is the mental health a lot of times with serial killers is neglected. And if we just had better mental health throughout, we're definitely going to see a drop in serial killers.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not good.
I'm sorry. I just kind of went off on a roll there. Like I said, it's
No, I was listening. I was invested.
It's all right. That's educational.
Yeah. Felt like I was in like a lecture hall in a college listening to
I was gonna say, it's a topic that you obviously have a lot of passion about. Don't apologize for that.
Like I said, man, it's the human brain. Like, we all have one, and yet we know next to nothing about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're just meat skeletons with this bioelectrical thing that drives us.
Yeah. Oh, the old meat puppets.
What?
Yeah, meat puppets.
Meat puppets.
Yeah, we're just brains.
I've never heard that before.
We're not bodies. We're brains that controls a skeleton that's basically just a big meat puppet.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are nothing but our brains, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep. And they're not a bad band either.
Oh, I love it.
And then there's Mike.
Yeah. Emmy came in on Meat Skeletons.
That's the name of my new band, the Meat Skeletons.
The Meat Skeletons.
Yeah, because Meat Puppets is already taken.
Too bad you can't play music. I'm like, yo, play some Blackwater right now.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yeah. I think about the Meat Puppet song "Coming Down" way more than I ever should. It comes up so much in my brain. All right. I did want to go back to what you were talking about with that UFC fighter. I did find an article on one Cain Velasquez, who was
Cain Velasquez. That's him. Yeah.
Velasquez. Okay. Yeah. Actually, he didn't bother to beat the shit out of the guy. He shot him.
Yeah, I told you, he shot him.
Yeah, allegedly molested. Yeah, the guy he shot allegedly molested a 4-year-old relative of his. So yeah, good on him. I wouldn't charge him with anything for that.
Nope.
Like I said,
You should have a street name after him.
Prison.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, Cain, that's a bad thing. No, stop.
Yeah.
Take dinner and send him on his way.
That's
Fuck that
right.
dude.
That's right. Exactly. Mhm. Oh. All right. Well, I'll bring it back to me. And I'm going to mention one here that this one actually kind of blows my mind for a couple of reasons. Now, you've probably already heard of this one, but it's Mayuki Ishikawa. So, a Japanese midwife, she murdered infants with the help of
Jesus
accomplices
Christ.
during the 1940s. Estimates suggest that she murdered between 85 and 169 people, but the general estimate is about 103. She sought payments for the murders since many of her victims were deserted children. And she said that her services of killing these children cost less than raising an unwanted child.
Yeah.
Mental health. There we go.
Jesus Christ.
Here's the part that fucks me up.
Oh God.
Wait, we haven't gotten there yet?
No. Well, I
It
mean, the
gets
thing
worse.
that I find most unbelievable about the whole thing, she received a 4-year sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's what I've got. I have that.
Yeah.
That's once again, it's like you're speechless. Like
Mhm.
that's like not even what, like doing the real quick math in my head. It's 4 years. So like, what is that? That's like 3 days per infant, almost. If that.
Sure.
Oh, damn.
I'll go with that. Yeah. That I mean, if it had said anything else, I probably would have overlooked this one, but that particular tidbit just drew this one to me, and I just find that so ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what the services of a Japanese midwife was, but it almost sounds to me like she was helping families kill their children.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah,
under the guise as a midwife,
Yeah.
but it was more like, I can't afford to raise this kid. Get rid of it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I read that apparently that case was pretty much why in Japan shortly after they legalized abortion for the first time.
Wow.
Because of the population, this was, that was a big case of where people obviously couldn't afford and said, yeah, can you get rid of this child type thing.
Mm. Yeah. So, way to bring it back down. That's what
I
I
was
did.
going to say these.
Right to the floor.
This is a 3-part series, right?
No, I'm
I'm
hoping
gonna
it.
need more whiskey.
I'm hoping it dies here with us tonight.
Yeah.
You know,
I haven't even
Right
talked
now, I
about
wish I
Carl
was
Panzeram
drinking.
yet.
what's that?
I haven't even talked about Carl Panzeram yet.
Yeah, it's
Straight from the bottle.
yeah, it's just crazy. It's like in my younger days, I was a bit more interested in serial killers, but here, in my mid 40s, the more I learn about them, the more that it just fucks me up, like that there's this much mental illness and disturbed people in the world, and it's like some of this happened long ago, some of it happened very recently. You know what I mean? It's like nothing's really changed. With the state of mental health and the fact that people like this continue to develop and manifest in society and basically just target innocent people. It just bothers me that is still happening. So it's like the allure of the serial killer for me, strangely enough, doing more research in them, it's gone. It's like I can marvel at what it was that made one, but it's like the fact that it exists just kind of horrifies me a bit.
Well, that also.
Well, one of the biggest issues, though, is the lack of mental health support. Like,
Right.
Some people who become serial killers,
Yeah.
or just any violent crime nowadays, they're repressing these urges and these emotions for years before they're let out, but they have no safe outlet.
Right.
to go to.
We
Yeah.
have an epidemic of spree killers or mass shooters because the technology has gotten
Yeah, right
to
on.
such a state
Yeah.
that you will not see such proliferation of serial killers in the technology advanced countries because you kill one person, we have $1 million worth of forensic go in, find the date of birth from just a blood drop. Like we can identify you from such little bits and bobs of DNA and such forensic analysis and everything like that. So people now know that they can't do that. And like Ryan was saying, they build up, and then they go into a mall and shoot people. They go into a restaurant and shoot people. I'm not saying that these guys need to do serial killing to get it out of their system, but he's absolutely right. We have
There could have been a health there definitely would have been a healthier outlet, but it wasn't there.
It's a twofold solution. We have the technology to stop the people who are going to do it, but we also need the mental health to help the people that the only thing stopping them was the fear of getting caught. Because once you lose the fear of getting caught, you have nothing left to lose. Of the only thing that keeps honest people honest is locks, then that's it. Like I said it all the time at work. They're like, "Oh, why do we lock this up? It keeps honest people honest."
Yeah. And that's like everybody's got that backwards. Instead of the fear of getting caught, we need to move forward looking at the hope that you can get help.
Exactly. I agree with you, Ryan, 100%.
Agreed.
100% on that. Like that is the most neglected thing and any type of study is how not necessarily we could stop this person, but how could we have helped them? We know the warning signs. We know the triggers. We know down to a science, the triad, bedwetting, animal abuse, fire. If they exhibit 2 or 3 of those, there's a high chance that they're going to move on to people. You kill an animal, you're going to move on to a person. If you enjoyed that, you're going to move on to a person. Setting fires. We know this. It's over and over and over again. And so many serial killers exhibit this triad of warning signs. So once someone exhibits that, we have a responsibility not only to that person who may be doing that out of sheer chemistry rather than sheer boredom. We don't know.
I used to work at I guess, for lack of a better term, a boarding house for teens with socio-emotional disorders.
Mm-hmm.
We had one kid. We had to keep eyes on him at all times while he was outside on the property because he would kill animals. When he turned 18, he was moved to a different unit where we had adults, and he was found hanging out at a field across the street from an elementary school. And in his backpack, he was carrying rope, duct tape, and a flashlight.
Jesus.
And to this, I don't know what happened to him, but to this day, like when I left that job a few years ago, he was still allowed to, because he was legally an adult now, he was allowed to come and go as he pleased.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, it's. I don't want to say hardcore science, but the studies, like I said, the studies prove over and over again, these are the warning signs. You knew that, Ryan. You saw that, but what were you empowered to do to help him?
Absolutely nothing.
That's the issue. If you said, "Hey, what drives you to do that? Let's go into that further. Let's find out the root of this cause. Let's identify this problem," and then you find
that, and that's the problem right there. I am not qualified in the slightest to even begin that discussion with anybody, but the government just dumps them with people like us who are basically glorified babysitters instead of putting funding into people that can actually help these guys.
Absolutely. In America in the 80s, Reagan closed down a whole bunch of mental institutions, just closed them right out. Where did those people go? on the streets. That, so they basically gutted mental health in the 80s. And sure enough, you saw a very sharp increase from the 80s into the 90s into the early 2000s of just random acts of violence. And then once we start to understand that this is the cause, it's physical and mental health. If you help raise people up out of poverty, crime goes down. If you focus on mental health, crime goes down. I could harp on this all night. It makes me angry that we know how to fix not the whole issue, but a lot of the issue. 75%. If you could reduce crime in the country by 75%, everything would be better. Even though you're like, well, you still have the 25%. Like the 25% was going to happen regardless if we fix these issues or not. That's just how they are. That's the mentality. That is how they're going to do it. Like I said, you have people that are just driven to do these things. I bet you if you could explore with that kid, he wouldn't know why he killed those animals. He might not. He might just feel compulsed to. And if that's the issue, then you know that somewhere in his past, there was probably abuse or head trauma to the frontal lobe. Because
there was definitely abuse. We had his right.
Did
this get too dark for Nicole?
I don't know. I might message her here in a minute.
I didn't mean to take it there, but like it's like I said, this is the sad part of the reality we live in. Like we know how to fix these issues, but we take 0 steps in accountability to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's back.
Oh,
Sorry.
So no, it's okay. I was just worried that that job got into some pretty dark places. So I was worried that maybe that was a bit too much.
No, it's never too much.
Okay.
I can handle just about anything.
Because that wasn't even the worst one thing that happened there. But anyway.
I with one thing Chris was saying about crime goes down when you do this and crime goes down when you do that. As far as the United States, if crime went down that much, there wouldn't be any profit. And this country runs on profit. This country
capitalism, yay.
I am not afraid to say that.
You're right, because we have for-profit prisons. We have lobbies of unions that control the prisons that basically make the rules. So, like, to me, that's like if you pay me for a service for something, right? I'll give you an example. I'm not going to tell you where I work, but I'm going to tell you one of the things that I find instantly like, are you kidding me with this? So I work at a company that pays a company to take away our hazardous waste. Who defines the hazardous waste? Any guesses? The company that takes it away.
Right.
So I shit you not, Cherry Coke is defined as hazardous waste. We are not legally allowed to dispose of Cherry Coke in a dumpster because it is defined as hazardous waste. And would I get fired for throwing away a Cherry Coke? Probably not. But could I? If they really wanted to get rid of me, they could, because it's technically hazmat and it needs to go into a hazmat bin and taken away at $100 a barrel by the company that tells me what hazmat is.
Yeah.
I love Cherry Coke.
Yeah. I would classify Diet Cherry Coke as hazardous materials. Not regular, I mean.
Like
health insurance companies kill people every day for money.
Yeah. I mean, but you're absolutely right. If we there's no profit in it going down. How are the police going to afford their shiny new toys?
Yeah, if crime went down, we wouldn't need as many police. We wouldn't have fundraisers. And I always go back to Shawshank with this. When Bob Gutton says there's only 3 ways taxpayers want to spend their money: more walls, more bars, and more guards. Yeah. They don't want to see anybody rehabilitated. They just want lock them up and throw away the key no matter what.
But then,
Well, that's easier for them to understand.
stop opening the doors. So the funny thing is, when you ask people about our criminal justice system, if we focus on rehabilitation or retribution, people say, well, we send them there, they do their time, they get out, and they're supposed to be better. Absolutely not.
Not when they get more abuse in there than they do out here.
So in Norway, they
I'm
actually
moving to Norway.
such a problem. Listen to this. This is
Mhm.
absolutely 100% true. They have
Mhm.
such a problem with having such a low crime rate that they actually have turned prisons into hotels because they need something to
Yeah,
utilize.
we've did a program on
Yeah,
that.
we've watched something on that.
Like they have such a low crime rate that like they're like, we have these buildings that are empty. We need to do something with them.
Yeah,
You
but
look
they
at
rehabilitate.
Portugal. They legalized all drugs. Whatever you want to do is fine. They have what they call safe zones where you could go and do your drug of choice and you will be safe there to do it. They have people there, if you overdose, can administer Narcan or whatever you need to do. But they also focus on the rehabilitation side of it. Whereas they get the people who want help counseling. They get the people who want help with their addictions.
Right.
And it works.
It does
Drug
work.
across the board went down. Why is that? I don't know.
Money. We don't do prisons the way Norway does prisons because it costs too much.
No,
It doesn't matter that they do get rehabilitated and they learn skills and they, take responsibility for their actions, and it doesn't matter. It costs too much money here, so we won't do it.
in Norway, it is not illegal to escape from prison.
Yeah.
The only thing they will get you on is still in their clothes. So you have to
Yeah.
give them back their clothes if you escape.
Yeah. But the return rate in Norway compared to the United States is over 80%. Norway, it's like 23%, something like that, for criminals to return to prison after they're released. So obviously they're doing something right.
Yeah, they're doing something right, definitely.
But it costs money.
Picturing a bunch of naked ass criminals running around in the fields of Norway.
Yeah. Don't want to be accused of theft.
Oh my god. Who are we on?
Mike, it's like, I'm sorry, but it's just
Mike. It's Mike's turn.
you open these doors to like areas that I really barely versed in. I'm sorry.
Chris and I are going to
okay.
have to have our own hangout one night. Just me
Welcome
and him
to
talking
Crime
about
Talk.
prison reform.
Welcome to Crime Talk with Nicole and Chris. Chris, Ira Henley over there.
Michael.
Yes.
You awake, sir? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm watching something. I'm
Inside the world's toughest
multitasking.
prison. That's where I get my info.
I did find an interesting one.
Yeah.
Amelia Dyer,
Oh my.
That sounds familiar.
nurse and midwife turned baby farmer.
Yeah.
Apparently, she operated in Britain in the late 1800s. Apparently,
Yeah.
baby farming was a trade in the Victorian era. For a fee, carers would adopt unwanted children for money. And so she just first started just starving the babies and let them die and would collect the money. And then apparently they weren't dying fast enough. They don't tell you how, but she said she progressed to faster methods of killing to allow her to pick
Yeah.
up more cash more quickly.
She used some type of an opiate.
I think it's Lalum, I think.
Yeah, it didn't say. They gave it some like.
It just caught my eye, baby farming. I was like, what the fuck?
And then that break you down the rabbit hole, didn't it?
I just
Yeah.
picture
Yeah,
Mary
I was
Poppins
looking
in
at
a
all
field
the ones
surrounded
that I
by
was like,
fetuses holding
oh.
a
I was gonna
pitchfork.
say my innocent ass was picturing Cabbage Patch Kids.
I was gonna say, oh, we got the,
I
we
came
got
back just at the right time then.
Oh my God. Whew.
So I mean,
The hills are no longer alive. Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's because there's dead babies.
Uh,
So I mean,
That's terrible.
you did it.
That's
You blame
terrible.
me.
we do still see that kind of today with the foster care system, where people will just foster kids upon kids. You're laughing. You really shouldn't be.
No.
No.
If I don't laugh, I'm gonna start to cry. I mean, it's one or the
Yeah,
other.
this is pretty.
No,
We're-
but
we're-
so
we're
the
going
same-
dark.
Imagine in today's world, you say, like, what do you do? I'm a baby farmer. I'm like,
So
what do you-
they,
like,
no,
bro,
like you've heard of this though. Everyone's heard of the
Yeah.
people that foster like 10, 20 kids at
Sounds
one
like she
time
lost the whole crop.
to just basically get that paycheck. The state pays them X amount of money per kid to foster. So what do? They foster as many kids as they can handle, and they just rotate them out.
Yeah.
They give them the bare minimum and they pocket the rest. It happens more than you would like to admit. So
Sorry,
Mike-
Mike took his shirt off. I got distracted. What? Clint, you're next.
that's
I'm on it.
Hang on, I've got Diet Coke music somewhere.
I was going to say, hang on a minute, I missed Mike taking your shirt off. Mike, put your shirt back on and take it off slowly for me.
I wanted to lighten the mood, so I figured I'd make everybody crack up. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They just simply referred to the opiate as mother's friend.
oh,
So I
mother's
don't know what
friend.
that is. But yeah, who knows?
Right.
Yeah, I've got opium here.
Maybe it was laudanum. I mean, there was.
I've just got opium.
time-
What I read just says
Yeah.
opium.
I seemed when the hell was this? Yeah, that's about the right time period. Around the Civil War time period, there was a quieting syrup that they made for babies, which was basically liquid opium
Morphine
in a bottle that you could rub on the baby's gums, and it would go to sleep. It would quiet down. So I mean, you could seriously fuck up and like overdose your baby really easily if you weren't
Pretty
super
much
careful
all our
with it.
Victorian medicines have got things like opium.
Yeah.
I got a bit of a
Arsenic,
cough. Better go see
lead.
the doctor for some heroin.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they made those jokes about it in those memes not so long ago, but it's not really far off from what was really done.
No, that's
and it
that's-
wasn't that long ago. When,
Yeah.
when my son was born, you always have a 2-week follow-up when they're 2 weeks old, and they automatically give you, and it wasn't even a written prescription, it was a pre-printed prescription for Benadryl, Paregoric, and Ipecac. Paregoric is what you give them to knock them out. And my doctor the pediatrician said to me, there's no reason why both of you should lose sleep. So he started teething and was up, and he's like, put a few drops of Paregoric in his bottle, he'll be right out. So I did, and he slept for like 9 hours.
There was
Wow.
a thing, a medicine when our kids. I mean, God, one of our kids is 30 this year. When one of our kids was little, and they stopped it very soon after our kids were born. It was called Phenergan, and it was the same.
Yeah.
It was literally a cough syrup that wasn't for coughs. It was to put your kids to sleep.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's
Terrifying.
probably what 20 something years ago.
Wow.
they used to give me Phenergan.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
And oddly enough, it worked. It was the total opposite. Like I would lose my mind over it. And I would I wouldn't put me to sleep. And as a matter of fact, my mother used to call it the wild cherry medicine, because when I had a cough, she'd given me for my cough, but I'd be like more of an asshole than I was normally without it. She goes, every other kid it used to knock out. You became like twice of a jerk. Well,
I love your mom.
mom.
That's amazing.
I have to say, I've got memories of being around old aunts and grandmothers when I was probably a kid, and them dipping dummies in whiskey to give to babies who were teething.
I've done it.
Mhm.
Passing
Yeah,
by
rub brandy on their
whiskey
gums.
to a baby that was teething. I've seen that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do.
Well, if they're old enough to sail, they're old enough to drink a bottle of Stella, aren't they?
Yeah. This is dark.
You know why it started? I think female serial killers. Why is it they all have, not all, but a lot have a history of murdering children?
Yeah,
Like,
there's a
yeah.
lot of them.
Children are
A
easy.
lot of them are child killers.
Yeah, that's
I don't understand. You think as a woman?
that's predominantly what you see, with the exception of a few. You know, like the one I mentioned earlier, Leonarda, who like axed 3 women. I mean, that's the unusual one. You know, for the most part, they're not violent criminals. They're poisoners for the most part.
Oh yeah. We're not breaking a nail or getting our clothes messy.
Yeah. Why exert so much effort when we can just,
Exactly.
kill you way easier?
I love you, honey. Here, come have some dinner.
Yeah.
I made you a nice drink.
Yeah, made you
I'm not
special.
cleaning up blood. I'll never get the stains out of this carpet.
Yeah. That's right. Worst you have is vomit. Oof. Oh, wow.
Next hangout, we got to do like cartoons or something too.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I did want to bring that up. I mean, I haven't made the new hangout yet. Don hasn't said anything about one that he wanted to do, but the next one technically is Christmas Eve. And I thought, it would be really cool if I could set one up to just basically talk about Christmas horror movies. I mean, is that one anybody would want to do if you're available to do it?
Yeah.
There might not be many
The
of
problem
us.
is the time for us.
That's
it might-
Obviously,
yeah.
I know you're with family, so it's going to have to be for your time more than ours. But
Right.
if we are, we will. But it's going to be kind of like early hours for us Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about that though. I mean, couldn't we just do it Friday?
We could. If that would be more convenient, we could
Yeah,
do it
works for
earlier.
us.
I'm not doing anything
Well,
Friday.
don't change it for us. If you want to do Christmas Eve, do Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? Don't change it.
I'm Danish. I'm busy Christmas Eve.
Yeah. No,
Friday would work definitely better for me too.
A lot of drinking to do Christmas Eve, right?
Drinking and using a giant deep fryer.
Deep
Great
fryers.
combination.
Yes.
Those things go well together.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Super
Deep fried
excited.
moose.
Sounds perfectly safe.
I
Mm.
totally want to know what moose tastes like.
Good. Tastes like
Tastes
deer.
like chicken.
Yeah.
Do you have
Do
a
they make-
giant moose deep fryer?
I mean, I could probably fit a good chunk of a moose in the deep fryer.
And just like fucking crane it down like
Can you imagine the amount
they
of
fit
oil
the
that
camp in like Jurassic Park when there was
Yeah, oil's expensive right now. It's already going to cost me like $40 to deep fry the turkey. I can't imagine the amount of oil I need for a moose.
Mm. Render the fat down first. So I hope you saved all your bacon renderings.
Yeah.
it probably tastes like venison.
It does, yeah. No, moose tastes like deer.
Okay.
It's a
same.
little. It is still even a little gamier, a little tougher, but it's good. The best is bear. Bear tastes amazing.
I could not eat a bear. No.
I've had bear before.
No.
Oh, it's delicious.
I would try it. Never had it.
No.
You eat bear,
Yeah.
and you got
I've
no
only-
shops you
I've
can
only
just
had
go
it
buy
once.
like a bag of chips from or something.
Well, I don't know if you can buy it from the shop. I mean, my friends go hunting, so
No.
like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
all get together. We have like bear burgers and
Yeah. All harvested by hunters. Yeah.
No.
It's the only,
Yeah, no, we don't
the
get
only way to get it that
you
I
can
know.
get them from shops, but like you got to go to specialty shops.
Like
I mean,
my
I
friend
suppose,
Mike
I
Munson-
if I was hungry, I suppose I'd eat bear. I suppose if I was hungry.
No.
Good.
But I
I mean,
upset when
a lot
I
of
eat
game
lamb,
meat
so-
is very similar. So if you've had venison, you basically like bear
Yeah,
or moose.
okay.
There's not
I've
going to be
never
any
had any
surprises.
I have.
Okay.
My friend Mike takes when he hunted, he got a bear and he brought it to a Russian butcher that he knows, and he even made it cured it and made it like prosciutto. It was really good.
No.
I haven't
Sounds
had bear
amazing.
jerky, but I have had moose jerky.
I was gonna say
And
if you
Elk
do
is
get
elk
bear,
is pretty much like moose, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had elk. I've had deer, I've had moose, and I've had muskox.
Oh, because I've had elk burgers too. They were pretty good.
Yeah.
No.
Well.
Y'all are.
I didn't know you live in Pennsylvania.
I'm not eating a bear.
You freaking grab this stuff off the side of the road and just.
Yeah. I had a local guy brought in some goose jerky one time, and I tried that.
No.
Damn near broke a tooth. Fucking he missed one of the freaking pellets. From his shotgun. Yeah.
Don't eat a goose. They mate for life. No.
Honestly,
duck.
moose is a massive thing to eat in this country at this time of the year.
Yeah, actually Danish tradition too. Like I'm cooking a turkey on Christmas Eve, but tradition is we cook a goose.
Nope.
But the goose won't fit in the fryer.
Yeah. Those greasy bastards. You wouldn't need as much oil.
Duck's greasy as well.
Yeah.
The Cabela's in PA, they have elk burgers sometimes.
Yeah. I've had elk burger before. That's not bad. I mean, I can't say what I'd compare it to. I mean, it's I would say it's difficult to discern that from something like venison. You know what I mean?
I would imagine it would be similar to moose, just very gamey, very lean.
Well, yeah. There wasn't anything particularly special about it, from what I remember.
I've made venison chili.
They could have just told me it was elk and served me venison.
Yeah.
Hey, this elk is all right. I did not know the difference.
Especially me with my accent. When I walked into Cabela's, they're probably like, give me an elk, but they're like, give this jerk whatever you want.
Yeah.
Hamburger, he ain't gonna know the difference.
Yeah.
Grab one of those White Castle sliders.
Yeah. It's like European vacation. You ask for champagne, they give you dirty dishwater.
TV dinners, just stick a flag in it. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
So, I don't know. We're 2 hours in. I didn't know if this was a discussion that anyone wanted to continue to do. I mean, we could always do another round if you want to, but we spent so much time talking about the mental status of people and what's wrong with our respective countries with regard to mental illness. We didn't really get through a lot of these, and I'm okay with that. But if you want to continue and do a couple more, I'm all right.
I got a couple more.
All right.
I'll go another round, but then after that, I will go to bed because I'm tired.
Sounds good.
I do have one more.
All right.
I got a couple fun ones.
All right.
Been nothing but fun so far.
Yeah, right.
baby farming, it's a blast.
So Clint,
Yeah.
Can you pull up Belle Gunnis?
Oh, I read about that one. Yes.
That sounds familiar.
So, this was maybe late 1800s, early 1900s. She was a brick shithouse of a woman.
She looks like it. Oh, Norwegian American.
As you say,
Nicknamed Hell's Bell. Oh,
yeah.
my.
So this, and I'm not being pejorative when I say this, but if you saw her, you'd be like, yeah, this is totally so this broad.
Yeah, go ahead.
She basically would put want ads for husbands in the paper. she owned the farm, which she probably killed a husband to get, and would basically have the guys bring all their life savings, all of their stuff to her farm, where she would brutally murder them with an axe.
She was never caught.
And the most interesting part about it is she had 3 kids, I think. And there was a fire on her farm one day, and they came to put it out. And when they did, they found the bodies of her children in a headless Belle Gunnis in a grave. And they're like, well, this has to be Belle Gunnis. Well, sightings of her continued to popularize throughout. Once they started to find all the other bodies, like, holy shit, this guy, this woman's a killer. People saw her throughout the country after her supposed death.
Like Elvis.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they never found her head.
Ah.
They actually don't know whose body they found. They only assumed it was her body because it was wearing her clothes.
So it's believed that she staged this fire and absconded with all the money that she had collected from these victims. Yeah. And was never officially brought to justice if she survived.
And I personally believe that she did.
I would agree with you. It sounds very reasonable that she did this fire and faked her death and just disappeared.
Yep. If you haven't seen a picture of her, look her up.
Who, man?
She got how many? 13? 12?
But well, they say thought to have killed at least 14 people.
She had 14 dudes agree to come out and marry her.
Pigs.
Some guys like them dummy thick.
Yeah.
Bro, this isn't dummy thick. This is like the thing.
Show it to you. That's her.
Damn. She looks
she was pretty.
not happy.
Yeah.
I am smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet she was built like a brick shit
Even
house.
so, she invented resting bitch face.
Let's look at her name. Her name was Brihilda.
Oh yeah.
Paul's daughter.
Brynhild Paulsdatter Dorset. Wow. That's a mouthful. There's a better picture of her.
That's what she said.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
If you go down and to the right,
Why so serious?
Where she has
What?
the dress on, like she is a mountain of a woman too.
Did you say mountain or melon?
Mountain.
Mountain.
He's a looker.
Oh boy. Oh, that's probably some of the kids she murdered.
Well, she must have been good at something to get all their men to agree to come and marry her.
She
See
might
the
have been
look on
all.
her face? That is a woman.
She
that knows
might have
the
been
trick.
all talk. You can say anything in a newspaper.
Well,
ad.
no, you got to think about it. The guys that were coming were banking on
Oh, they were coming.
big farm and making a
They're
lot of
open
money.
to.
Would you imagine waking up next to that? Well, I'm not. Forget it. Forget I even said that.
I don't think you're waking up next to that, Mike. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Because she murdered them.
In my drunken days, trust me, forget it. I don't even want to talk about it. Change
Yeah.
the subject.
Yeah.
I got so many comments.
He's repressing memories right
Yeah.
now.
I'm repressing.
I don't even want to remember.
Mike, where were you in 1892?
Amazing.
You've woken up next to me. How can that be much different? Jesus.
You didn't put an axe in his forehead.
True. Both him and Clint have seen me like that. And
I was going to say, look, to be
Well,
fair, we've all looked like that.
I lied and told her I was from El Camino, so I knew I was safe.
Jesus.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, we're cracking on her, but like, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, back in the day, she owned her own land, was rich by comparison in the day. So a lot of men who were desperate would be like, "Yeah, I'll marry you," you know. So I mean, she is technically a black widow, killing her husbands for money. So I mean,
as one does.
I'm not trying to, I'm pretty sure she had her good days, but still, like, I remember seeing her picture and I was just like, "Oof."
Yeah.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Did her hair a little different and turned up one corner of her mouth?
What's the they take the hair down and they shake it.
So looking less bitchy today.
Is that an axe behind your back, or are you just happy to see me?
Can it be both?
Yeah.
Looking same today. Might delete later.
Yeah. Is it too much to ask for both?
Actually, that was a really good idea. We probably should have thought of that from the beginning. Clint pulling up the actual killer we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could go backwards. I can show you some of the other ones.
The one I mentioned, that the Dyer girl, she wasn't a prom queen either. Trust me.
You are correct, sir. And as luck would have it, I have that one right here. Oh boy!
Jeez.
Wait! Are you sure that isn't?
That's unfortunate.
That looks like a man.
Yeah. That's a good. That's a good game to play.
Can you pull up
female serial killer or former U.S. president?
Actually, I amend my statement. Can you pull up Harry Houdini real fast? Like a young Harry Houdini.
Oh, shut up.
No, Chris is right. That's.
You wake up next to that, you wish she would have killed you.
I don't know, man.
So he didn't die from appendicitis.
Yeah, very strange. Very strange.
I would have preferred to wake up next to Houdini.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't think you're waking up next to him. He's already picked your pocket and stole your car.
Yeah. And he did a good disappearing act. He's great at escapes. So
was I in the day.
Yeah, and you still have both your arms. So anyhow, Bacons, what do you think?
What about life in general?
I didn't know if you had any other wonderful.
You've actually pretty much gone over what we've been writing down.
I've got one.
Oh, bloody hell.
Got what somewhere, if I can find it. All right, there we go. I know this was kind of a last minute one, and I didn't get a time period for it, so I don't even know when it was.
Okay.
But there was a Joanna Barraza. She was from Mexico.
Oh, I was going to bring her up.
Ah, yes, the
Passed
wrestler.
herself off as a nurse or a carer.
Oh, yes.
She was quite a religious nut from what I've read. And she strangled them or smothered them and left religious kind of iconic trophies, little things for each one. For a long time, though, they actually didn't think it was a woman because she was of a larger, thicker set persuasion. And an eyewitness had seen a figure leaving after one of the murders and assumed it was a man wearing a dress.
I love how Claire is so kind about it. So, persuasion.
I'm being diplomatic.
The term you're looking for is brick shit house.
Yeah, that's a Mel DeMarco.
Yeah. He's actually a professional wrestler for a while as well.
Yeah. That's the part I read.
Holy shit, she's what? 6'3"?
Wait,
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'3".
She's the same
Wow.
height as me. Holy shit.
Wow. Yeah.
She is
So-
a pretty house.
Yeah. She beat the hell out of old ladies.
Yeah.
And killed them and basically robbed them. Yeah. Nice woman.
Yeah, she got 700 years eventually.
Yeah. 759 years in prison. You got it right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
then scroll up again. Her hair's just touching the 80. This woman was 6'8".
Get the hell out of
6'8".
town.
Right.
So I know it's not fun to make fun of the way people look, but these are murderers, so fuck them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck her.
75,
fair.
3 in it.
Mm.
6'8". Jesus.
Yeah.
Crikey.
So, who would you have play her in a movie? Like John
LaMarcos,
Leguizamo
I
or
swear to
something?
God, it looks just like him.
Shaq. Just put Shaq in a dress.
Michael
Yeah.
Shannon, he can do
Game of
anything.
Thrones.
Yeah. Called the Old Lady Killer. She murdered between 42 and 48 elderly women. Good Lord. Beat or strangle, then steal their possessions. She was
And to
caught
be
in
fair, this one's
2006
under
she was caught. It's not that long
2006.
ago.
I was gonna say this one's underselling herself. Like I know a lot of female killers tend to go for the elderly and children because they're easier targets.
Mhm.
But this woman was 6'8" and a professional wrestler. Like she could have gone for men.
She could have taken me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like she must not have been able to act worth a shit because, she could have made a lot of money, like as a professional wrestler,
Oh, yeah.
Would have
yeah.
probably made a great heel if she could just figure out how to act.
She couldn't stop killing old ladies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to keep killing these old ladies.
Yeah. It's like,
Some people collected Beanie Babies. She,
yeah.
She should be played by Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
He could do it.
Yep. I bet he could.
The whole thing is like I would want like just a 6'8" dude to like play her,
Yeah, yeah.
and there aren't too many tall people in Hollywood.
No, there's not.
I'll play her. I'll put on the dress and the luchador mask.
You know what? I'd like to see George Clooney play her.
I think he's only like 5'10" and a half, isn't
I don't know. You're probably right.
he? He seems like he'd be short. I don't know why.
Yeah. Seems like it. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. That
All right,
one's
guys, I
crazy.
think I'm going to hit it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very tired.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's been fun as always.
It's always good to see you.
All right, good night, guys.
Good
Good night.
Good night, Nico.
Night.
Bye.
All right.
Just a break. I that's 48, serving almost 800 years.
Seems like a lot.
I mean,
Yeah. And it just makes me wonder why target elderly women. It's
well,
like
no,
she
I think
clearly could have taken a
She,
dude.
Actually, I almost before the tablet fucked up on me, I was going to bring up this lady too.
Yeah.
The reason she targeted the elderly, she specifically targeted ones who were financially well off. So she would murder them and steal their possessions.
Yeah.
When they arrested her, they actually found a list of other elderly people she was planning on doing this to.
Wow.
Cool.
They were all people that were getting like financial assistance from the government and stuff. So she knew they'd be easy targets
Yeah.
and they'd have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those where I would have wanted her to accept the challenge of just like taking out some dude. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
like maybe another wrestler. I mean, just
Not El
It
Santo.
was kind of leaving the trophies, like the religious little things that caught my eye.
Yeah.
I feel just from the cursory glance at the thing, that was probably to throw people off. Because number one, like you said, people are like, it was a dude in a dress.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna think, you know, obviously in my mind, if I'm a 6'8" woman, I stick out like a sore thumb.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So if I'm throwing off, putting down this, they're going to be looking in all sorts of different avenues. Then obviously, like, well, they said it was looked like a 6'8" man in a dress. Maybe we should go talk to the 6'8" woman who knows how to hurt people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you think they would put that together? Like,
Yeah, apparently in the investigation, spent a lot of time wasted looking actually through the transvestite community. That actually said it in the article.
Hmm.
Wow.
But again, they thought they saw a man in a dress. So.
Yeah.
But again, like you're saying, like there's only like probably one 6'8" woman.
Yeah.
Like, maybe ask her a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if
There's
you're
not
looking for transvestites, ask her.
in the local area, is there?
No.
Yeah. I can't imagine they had a lot of them walking around. You're right.
No.
Yeah. Wow. Unreal. I don't know. Ryan, you got anything else you want to throw out there?
I got one more.
Yeah.
Beverly Allitt. Anybody?
You said Beverly Allen?
Allitt. Allitt.
Oh.
So she, tale as old as time, it appears to be with these female serial killers. She went through nursing school. She fucking sucked at nursing school. They actually found her smearing feces on the wall at one point in a bit of frustration. Had a huge tardiness, like constantly missing classes. Still somehow managed to squeak through the system and started working in hospitals. She was convicted and eventually found guilty of murdering babies by dosing them with lethal amounts of insulin.
Yeah.
that's actually.
I believe she was found guilty of 4 murders, but I think there was also 3 others they were unsure of, and at least 9 other children that she caused damage to.
Yeah, that's what it looks like here on Wikipedia. 4 murders, 3 attempted, and grievous bodily harm to a further 6 is how they word that.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This lady was messed up. She kind of looks like a friend of mine too. It's kind of freaking me out.
Oh.
So
Ugh.
believe it or not, insulin is one of those things that a lot of the angel of death type of serial killers will use, because unless you're actually looking for it, you're going to overlook it. Because what happens is when you get an overdose of insulin, you actually go into a coma. It's insulin shock, and your body just shuts down. So a lot of times, what they'll try to do is they'll play the hero. Well, they'll give them the shot of insulin. They'll give them the shot of insulin to get them to crash, and then they know how to counteract it because they know that they gave them insulin, so I give them this, and that'll bring them back.
Yeah, you just give them glucagon or something. And...
Yeah, and it brings them back, and then you're a hero.
Nope.
Yeah, hypoglycemia is very common. Well, especially in small children and the elderly, hypoglycemia is pretty common, and yeah, it would very easily be overlooked as like somebody successfully murdering someone. It would just be chalked up as sugar levels were whacked.
Yeah. Yeah. Awful. Yeah. I don't remember which one it was, but I was reading a few of these, and another one who did a similar thing was using epinephrine for a similar reason, that it would be very difficult to find later.
Especially since it goes through your system so quickly.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has a very short half life, and unless you're looking for it, you're not gonna find it.
Yeah. I don't remember which one that was. Doesn't really matter. Let's see.
I got one for you, Clint.
All right, go ahead.
Catherine Knight. Pull her up.
What kind of cookie?
Catherine Knight.
KN or just N?
You want to finish this
K-A
cookie?
on Catherine, and then Knight as in like knight in shining armor.
Oh, okay.
Well, first off, she's Catherine with a K, so that's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
Well, there's gonna be a lot more red flags, so
All right, let me do this here. Let me do this. Let's get her up here. Already creepy.
Oh dear.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Oh,
Dream
Australia.
about those eyes tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's an Australian murderer and the first woman in the country's history to be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. She was convicted for the murder of her partner, John Charles Thomas Price, in 2000. Currently imprisoned at the Silverwater Women's Correctional Center in New South Wales. Knight stabbed Prince to death, skinned him, and then put his skin on a meat hook. She then cooked his head and parts of his body with the intention of feeding them to Price's children, but was stopped by police.
Right.
Wow.
Sleep well tonight, kids.
Holy shit.
I was going to say at first, I'm like, this doesn't follow the rules about the multiple homicides, but as soon as we got into the skinning and everything, I'm like, no, I want to hear more about this.
God damn.
well, I mean, we talked about that before the stream. Was like, what would constitute? Because like you said, sometimes with female serial killers, they don't have the body count.
Yeah.
Oh, I seriously think if she hadn't been caught, this would have continued.
I was gonna say, like,
counts.
but just through sheer brutality alone, this would classify her, in my mind, as someone who is capable of doing this multiple times.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm looking to see here if she worked on a hog farm. Like, she almost had to do all that.
What year was this?
Well, she was caught in 2000. Or
The
convicted.
internet was pretty early then. It's not like she could look up Pinterest or anything. So yeah, she must have been.
Yeah.
Put it on my pension.
Wait. Oh, here it is. Abattoir worker.
Oh, Jesus. Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing.
Oh, I used to
Because you wouldn't automatically do that. You know what I mean? Nor would you know exactly how.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like she had to have some experience, by my reckoning. But yeah, there it is. Fuck, abattoir worker. Jesus Christ.
I got another
swinging the sled. She was taking them out.
So that's Catherine Knight. Yeah.
She's my favorite one of the night.
Oh,
hey, that's a pun. But no, dude, that one shocked me the most. I mean, you can only hear dead babies so many times before you get numb to it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep it international.
That one was kind of fun.
Let's go to Ilsa Koch. Hang on.
With an eye.
Yeah, it is. First one.
Okay,
One.
there it is. I see it.
Wait, are you serious? Oh my god.
It's a German war criminal. Okay, so 1906 to 1967. She wasn't super old. She was an overseer at a Nazi concentration camps run by her husband, Commandant Karl Otto Koch, working at Buchenwald and Majdanek, or whatever the hell that is. Koch became infamous for her sadistic, brutal treatment of prisoners. Oh, great. 1947, she became one of the first prominent Nazis tried by the U.S. military. Wow. All right. After the trial received worldwide media attention, survivors' accounts of her actions resulted in other authors describing her abuse of prisoners as sadistic, and the image of her as the concentration camp murderess was current in post-war German society. She was known as the Witch of Buchenwald by the inmates because of her cruelty and lasciviousness toward prisoners. She had been nicknamed the Beast of Buchenwald, the Queen of Buchenwald, the Red Witch of Buchenwald, Butcher Widow, and the Bitch of Buchenwald. Well, what the hell does she do?
Just a quick. What did she do to be known as the sick one working at the concentration camp?
Well, that's why you don't really see this in Wikipedia, a section called War Crimes.
Yes. That is interesting. Let's see. She engaged in gruesome experiments. Selected tattooed prisoners were murdered and skinned to retrieve tattooed parts of their bodies. This was allegedly done to help a prison doctor, Eric Wagner, in his dissertation on tattooing and criminality. Oh, nice. Somehow they're connected, right? In 1940, she built an indoor sports arena, which cost over 250,000 Reichsmarks, which is about $62,500, most of which had been seized from the inmates. In 1941, Karl Otto Koch was transferred to Lublin, where he helped establish whatever the fuck that is, concentration camp. Ilse Koch remained at Buchenwald until 1943, when she and her husband were arrested on the orders of that dickhead, who had supervisory authority over Buchenwald.
Hang on. I was going to say 1 second. How bad are you when the Nazis are calling for you to be arrested?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, I did see that.
Wait.
SS and police leader. Yeah. The charges against the Kochs comprised private enrichment, embezzlement, and the murder of prisoners to prevent them from giving testimony.
So it was basically money was the reason why.
That seems to be a motivating factor for many. It really doesn't lay out their crimes other than the thing about the tattoos.
So there is some hearsay. If you go up to your little Google machine, and you have Ilse Koch and the bar, right? Type in the word lamp next to her name.
Ah, Jesus. There we go. You're going to show me a picture of this?
No, just read the first headline is all you have to read.
Lampshades made from human skin?
Yep. That's just the start of it.
Sure. Well, that's horrible. Her and Ed Gein would have gotten along. Oh,
that's where he got the idea.
I mentioned him, yeah. Jesus. Yeah. 1950s murderer Ed Gein, possibly influenced by the stories about the Nazis, made a lampshade from the skin of one of his victims. Jesus Christ. Awesome.
So, it's pretty bad when you are, the worst person in the concentration camp. I agree with Ryan on that.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them.
How about
Mike is just like
no, I'm actually
I've heard Mike in a long time.
No, I'm just gonna talk to Clint. I'm actually talking to Brad Laurie.
Brad Laurie?
Michael Myers from Halloween Resurrection.
Oh, Jesus.
Would you want to talk to him if I could get him to?
How could I possibly say no? How could I possibly say no?
Since it's like the best Halloween.
I got you.
Other than Derek Myers, he's the only Michael Myers that speaks in the franchise.
Did you say speaks?
Yeah, I just started. I saw him online. I messaged him and I asked him, let's see what he comes back with.
Hey, Clint, I got another one for you. I could keep going all night long, brother.
Let's not, but okay.
Check out Nanny Doss.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I read about Giggling Granny, right?
The Giggling Granny.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we're laughing and having fun because, like, if you really want to get into like the really bad ones, you know.
I mean, I'm laughing.
I mean, check out that winning smile.
Oh, that.
Oh, I'm telling you. Tease the camera.
Look at the one on the bottom right corner.
That's
And
one.
she's seducing the camera with that.
That's right. That's right.
I might have to take my shirt off.
Whew. I'm telling you. Mm-hmm.
She's interesting.
Yeah. Born Nancy Hazel. All right. Giggling Granny, the Lonely Hearts Killer, the Black Widow, Lady Bluebeard. That's interesting. Did she get a 5 o'clock shadow? Is that where that came from?
So, do you know the term Bluebeard? What it means?
Is it like blue waffle?
It's escaping.
No.
It's escaping me. No, go ahead.
So, to make it real simple, a Bluebeard is the male version of a Black Widow.
Oh. Huh.
So, like, anyone that would kill, like, multiple lovers would be a Bluebeard.
Huh.
Okay, so a Black Widow makes sense because a female Black Widow kills her partner.
Mm-hmm.
How does Bluebeard make any sense?
Thank you for opening that door to me because I know the answer to that. It actually comes from a story in which the character's name was Bluebeard, and he had a mansion, a castle, whatever you want to think. He had this really opulent place, and he brought his wife there, and he said, "You could go into any room except for this one." And so eventually she gets curious and goes in, and it's all his dead wife's. And then he kills her and puts her in the room. So that's where the term Bluebeard came from. Ask and you shall receive.
Any affiliation with Blue Balls?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. If you were Bluebeard for too long, I guess you get blue balls.
I think I'd have them on purpose if I was around her.
What backing up? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Four husbands.
Yeah.
For 2 children, 2 of her sisters, her mother, 2 grandsons, and of course the mother-in-law.
Jesus.
Racking them up, baby.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. I think I want to throw one more out there. I will present to you.
Who's that one that just passed? Looks like Christy McNichol.
Who, this?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one
Gilbert.
that's not friggin' hideous.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say
yeah,
that's so funny because you were scrolling through and we got there. I'm like, oh, she's kind of pretty.
Yeah. Kristen Gilbert. She was convicted of 4 murders and 2 attempted murders of patients admitted to the Veterans Affairs Medical Center.
Yep, epinephrine.
This is the one that did the epinephrine. Okay. Which is an untraceable heart stimulant. So this would cause cardiac arrest, and she would respond to the coded emergency herself.
You notice a lot of these women were nurses.
Yeah.
It's a common thread.
And it's actually very interesting, the duality in the fact that they took a caregiver position so that they could actually hurt people.
Yeah. Some of them may have had that complex where they wanted to try to save people's lives, but in a lot of these cases, it really doesn't seem that way.
Some of them, no, but I think with the Allet woman and her, that was the case.
Yeah. They had some hero complex where they desperately needed that somehow. Now, I'm talking about this lady.
Yeah, I was going to say this one. This is going to be good.
Dorothea Puente. She ran a boarding house in Sacramento, California, and murdered her elderly and mentally disabled boarders. She would then cash in their Social Security checks. She was often called the Death House Lady. She was charged.
I think that was my choice on part 1.
Yeah? Okay.
I think.
Could have been. I don't remember exactly, but you might be. She was charged with a total of 9 murders. Puente was convicted of 3 and sentenced to 2 life sentences. She died in 2011 in a prison in Chowchilla.
Chowchilla.
Yeah, the age of 82.
That's a big house right there, Chowchilla.
Mm.
That's where the big boys play, or big ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like a strong fart would take her out.
Well, I think I'm going to say goodnight, guys.
Oh.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
I'm really tired.
We're probably going to end it shortly anyway, but
Yeah,
thank you for coming on.
This is the latest I've been awake for weeks.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you practiced for us.
I did a practice last night and everything.
Yeah, very cool. And you made it.
I'll get back to normal. I felt great this week. I felt a lot better this week, so I think I'm back to normal now.
No.
Nearly.
Nearly. I'll never be fully normal, thank God.
No.
Right,
None of us
good
will
night,
be.
beautiful people.
Yeah. Yes. Good night to you
night.
as well.
Night,
Good
Bacon.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.
Good night.
All right. How dark do you want to go?
That's a loaded question.
Because I got 2 that are both extremely dark.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll go there for a minute.
a minute. How about Fred and Rosemary West?
But didn't you bring this one up, Ryan? Was this you? Or no?
Not me.
No.
Did we already talk about that?
My entire contribution to these 2-part series has been whatever I said tonight and eating spicy food.
Something sounds really familiar about that.
I brought up
Maybe the Bacons brought it up last time.
I brought up Paul Bernardo and Carla Mocha.
That was the second choice.
Yeah. So yeah, they were a duo. English serial killer committed at least 12 murders between 67 and 87 in the Gloucestershire area. Most of them.
Of course, we go here where the Bacons could actually help us with
the
pronunciations.
Whatever. We're close enough.
Just add the word "in it" to the end, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, in it.
In it.
Yeah, most of them with his second wife, Rose West. All the victims were young women. At least 8 of his murders involved the West's sexual gratification, included rape, bondage, torture, and mutilation. Victims' dismembered bodies were typically burned in the cellar of or garden of the West residence of Gloucester, which became known as the House of Horrors. Fred is known to have committed at least 2 murders on his own. Rose is known to have murdered Fred's stepdaughter, Charmaine. The couple were arrested and charged in 1994. And then he fucking killed himself.
But it's it gets a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
So
happy.
Yeah, so he they murdered one of his daughters and they buried her in the backyard, and they would actually threaten the kids that if they didn't behave, they would bury them in the backyard with their sister.
Nice.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, what a colossal pile of garbage. Huh. Yeah. Fucking asshole.
And there's a whole bunch of other what's the word I'm gonna try to be very PC with? Deliverance style stuff going on there too.
Oh. Okay.
A lot of keeping it in the family. Insects? Yes, insects. Grasshoppers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they
I actually listened to a podcast. A couple weeks ago. Apparently, incest isn't as bad as originally thought. So.
Oh my.
Is that like someone who's like, hey man, I've read the studies. Drinking's not that bad for you. It's like, bro, you just want to drink.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about that Jack of all Graves episode, right?
Indeed, I am.
I did listen to that one. Oh. Oh.
Is there anything I was listening to? I'm like, Corey, what are you getting at here? Like, what's the end game with this?
So there's two types of people you should never trust.
Uh,
One of them is the person who can spell gonorrhea right the first time,
oh God. Okay.
and the second is someone who knows the age off the top of their head.
Knows
Did I get
what?
it right?
But they know the age of consent per state off the top of their heads.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't trust those dudes.
No.
How do you spell gonorrhea?
There's like a 2 N's and an I, and I
Isn't
think
it GHONNOREAH?
Okay, well I can trust you now, Ryan.
I don't know. Is that right?
No, I
Clint.
think it's GONER.
No, it's definitely GH. It's definitely GH.
I would need spell check to basically
Yeah,
tell me
let's-
that one.
Type in gonorrhea.
Oops.
No,
No, it's
No,
towards the end.
HEA. HEA. I got it
said
wrong.
There was an I in there somewhere.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
No, I screwed it up.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Ugh. Yep.
So I mean, not for nothing, but we hit like most of the really big hitters when it comes to the
Yeah.
female serial killers.
Yeah.
It's Harry Houdini again.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the ones that I found interesting was actually Delfina and Maria de Jesus Gonzalez. They were a sister team who basically had a house, and they would get young ladies to come out there, and they would drug them and prostitute them, and of course keep all their money. So whenever they became useless to the trade, they'd basically kill them. So they were also schemers for profit, and that was kind of an inventive way of doing it. I mean, they were sister lady pimps, basically.
1912 to 1990?
Yeah, I don't know why they threw that date on there, because there's two of them. It's like, which one are they talking about? You know what I mean?
Well,
That's somebody's lifespan there.
I mean, but it's also saying until the mid 1960s, the sisters ran a ranch called
Right.
Rancho El Angel.
Yeah. Yeah. Rancho El Angel.
Yeah. Bordello
from Hell.
All
yeah.
of these sound like exploitation movie names.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. This is probably where some of the inspiration comes from.
Hey, Dusk Till Dawn sounds about right.
Yeah. So the
Yeah, I
women
was
were
gonna say-
eventually.
If someone was like, hey, dude, we're going to watch Bordello of Hell, I'd be like, sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. The women were eventually arrested. Police searched the sisters' property and found the bodies of 11 men, 80 women, and several fetuses.
Oh, God.
Though they are suspected of having murdered many more. In 1964, the sisters were each sentenced to 40 years in prison.
What?
All that, and they only got 40 years. Fucking
Did
insane.
anyone bring up the gentleman Pedro Lopez?
I think so. Yeah, I think
That
Don
sounds
brought
familiar.
that up the last time.
Yeah, that's another guy that was
Yeah.
hundreds of people
Killed a lot of
and
children. Yeah,
He's gone.
he was
disappeared.
released. Yeah, he was released for good
And he's-
behavior.
They have no idea where he is.
Right.
Gone.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Yeah.
Probably not the FIFA player.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah, he was a Colombian serial killer and child rapist who murdered a minimum of 110 girls between 1969 and 1980. He claimed to have murdered over 300 victims across Colombia, Peru, Ecuador. Released from a Colombian mental facility in 1998. His whereabouts are currently unknown.
Oh, that's
yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, so he served a long prison sentence, and then he was sent to a mental facility, and from there, his sentence was commuted for good behavior.
So he didn't actually serve a long sentence. If he started in 1969 and ended in 1980, and was released in 98, that's only 18 years.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a long time, but it's not a long time.
No, considering his crimes, it's not a long time.
And the thing is, like when they're saying claims, they actually just stopped because he would take them to places and they would just find bodies. So he's like, I got more. They're like, bro, we don't, we don't need to know. So it's not like, a Henry Lee Lucas who claimed he killed all these people, but yet, probably really only killed his mother. This guy is probably the real deal. He probably killed about 300 people.
He probably did.
And only served 18 years. Didn't even he was at the health facility. So who knows how they were treated in there?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. That is absolutely crazy. I think that's enough killers for me.
I do got to say though, Chris, especially the last few, I actually was interested in them. So congratulations on that. Because this is a topic I absolutely hate.
Yeah. It's the more you learn about it, the more it's like, Jesus, I can't believe that this is real.
It's one of those things where either it fascinates you or it absolutely disgusts you.
Yeah.
Well, it absolutely fascinates my daughter. Who is a little creepy.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe that will inspire her to study it or something, and
let's hope
convert that into something positive.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do with that is don't think it's creepy, because it could be that she's fascinated in the workings of the human mind.
Oh no, it's absolutely because she absolutely lived and breathed her grandmother while she was alive, and it turned out while my grandmother was babysitting her, they would watch true crime documentaries.
My
she was 4.
Yeah.
My daughter's 19. Whenever I go to the horror convention, she's like, see if anybody's selling human bones.
Oh, well.
There was a guy.
I'm like,
raise them right.
I'm like, well, was it Monster Mania one time? There was a guy, and he had, and she bought 2 rib bones, and she hung them up, and they made like a heart.
Oh, wow.
But she's like, no animal. She loves animals, so she's like, no animal bones, just human bones.
Like humans, yeah.
I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, let me look. I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
On average, we're pieces of shit. So that's I could understand that over animal.
Yeah. Dog never hurt nobody, but a human, well.
Yeah. My wife will still occasionally put on Forensic Files to go to sleep too. So I mean, it's in us. It's in all of us, I guess. This morbid fascination with murder and death.
That, or she's trying to
maybe. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Go ahead, plan it.
I think we're all at that point of our lives. Whatever.
Good luck. You already know I'm not worth that much dead.
That's my problem. Between all the different insurances I have, I'm definitely worth way more dead than I am alive.
Hey, you and me both.
Yeah, sadly, me too. I'm worth a little bit of money once I kick the bucket.
I told my daughter's mother, I said, when we sell the house in Long Island, I'm going to go to Spirit Halloween and just bury a skeleton in the backyard. The next people, if they ever do any work, and dig it up.
I love those when I see those things on the internet. The dude who redid his kitchen and he put one underneath the countertop in the void in one of the cabinets.
Like a really realistic human skull, and just put it when you do drywall and just
right. Exactly. Next person who renovates. Jesus Christ! Call the police. Yeah. It's a great joke.
That would probably make me shit my pants.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Especially if it was like a realistic looking one. You know, if they
So
put
it
one of those
just-
shitty plastic ones in, they'd be like,
Oh yeah, you got to spring for like a realistic one.
yeah, you got to get a good one if you're gonna do it.
So at the same place where I work that shall remain unnamed,
Mm-hmm.
I used to handle the returns. So
Yeah.
I'd get in at 6 o'clock in the morning and start processing returns. And I'm like half asleep. I'm not a morning person. So I come in, I'm grumpy, I'm half asleep. And I go through, and there's a face staring up at me in the returns bin. And I'm literally like, oh my God. It was one of those Halloween decorations that someone was just like, oh no, we put it in there and like buried it to scare you. I was like, well, it worked.
Yeah, yeah.
Because technically a human face would be a hazmat issue.
Oh, you had the body leaking blood. That's biological. We got to break out the biocontainment units.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let me end this broadcast real quick.
So let's go off on some famous last words. Anybody got any?
Famous last words.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Jesus.
John Wayne Gacy.
Like before an
my ass.
execution. Okay,
Yep.
kiss my ass. All right, I got you.
Carl Panzram, serial killer. He was sentenced to hang.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was taking a little bit of long time to tie the noose. He said, hey, hurry up, you bastard. I can hang the lot of you in the time you're taking. Another one, Fry, sentenced to the electric chair. He said, how's this for a headline, boy? French fries.
About that.
Any famous Canadian last words there, Ryan?
Well, we don't have the death penalty, so.
Or in general
Nope.
that you know
of. Wasn't it Red from Shawshank Redemption who said you either get busy living or get busy dying?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I got, guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Any from you, Mike?
The best last words from a serial killer was John Wayne Gacy when he was like, kiss my ass.
Yeah. Well, since we brought up Amelia Dyer or Harry Houdini, I'll give you hers. When they went to kill her, she didn't deny the killings, saying to the authorities when they arrested. Oh, this is when they arrested her.
Well, that's I'll accept that.
Yeah. Oh, at her hanging, her last words offered no hint of remorse for the crime she committed. You'll know all mine by the tape around their necks.
Whew. How about to end it? Go to
Cold
Eileen
bitch.
Warnos's last words.
You know, that's actually the next one on this list I just looked up.
There you go.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah. Is it this? I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock and I'll be like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th. Like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back. What the fuck? Just before they lethally injected her. That's perfect. You are right. Very good. On that note, I will end our female serial killers discussion by ending this broadcast. Thanks for watching, you zero people out there.